is Savardis. He's on the move, and they're going to look for Savardis in the corner. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the Profs will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Okay, moving in. Sent it on goal, he scores!
And it is a power play goal.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon with the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Smith delivers. That's it back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship. Hello and welcome to Lombardi Field in Old Bridge, New Jersey. I'm John McCooch, joined alongside David Pizzuto, and today on the PDF Sports Network, we have the Old Bridge Knights hosting the Edison Eagles in a second-week showdown. We are about 15 minutes away from kickoff here, where the Knights hope to get back into the win column for the first time this season. Dave, how are we doing?
Thank you, John. Great to be alongside you this afternoon for a second game of the Old Bridge season. Last week, we saw Old Bridge narrowly defeated by Woodbridge High School right here on PDF in a game that we said multiple times on and off the air would be hard to top. I'm interested to see what the Knights and the Eagles have in store for us in this Saturday matinee.
So, Dave, let's start with looking at the season opener for Old Bridge last week. The Knights fought hard but lost in a thriller, like you mentioned, against Woodbridge 36-34, a classic back-and-forth game. Old Bridge showed a ton of perseverance, though, had a chance to send the game into overtime, but the Old Bridge Magic ran out late. When you start the season off kind of on the wrong foot like that, how do you take a step back and get locked in back for the rest of the season?
Well, John, it's easy to crawl into a hole after a tough, gut-wrenching loss like that, but perspective is key. And this early in the season, head coach Matt Donahue and his team know that. They showed incredible resilience in that game last week. They laid some groundwork for the future, and they get to rebound a week later once again in front of their home crowd. Are you going to come into Lombardi Field with slumped shoulders? I doubt it. I think if you're Old Bridge, you come out in this game taking away more positives than negatives from last week, and with a chance to turn around and make a really big statement this week against a very solid Edison team.
And one thing that stood out early in that game and for this Old Bridge offense was how the offense, they took a while to get going, and they only scored 7 points in the first half. Tough to run the ball. They got a stout Woodbridge defense over there, but plenty of flashes in that second half, including a long touchdown with Jaden Griffith that got the Knights back in it. Obviously, it can be tough early to get a real feel for that offense, but when you look at Brody Nugent, they're heavy with quarterback counters and keepers, and he led the Knights with total rushing yards, but made some nice throws, obviously. What should the expectations be for this Old Bridge offense?
I think continue to build, John. Let's not forget Brody Nugent was only a sophomore last season, and this Old Bridge team is a relatively young unit all around. So their best football is still very much ahead of them, and you need to constantly push the boundaries. What I would like to see a little bit more is of the downfield passing game for the Knights. I think it was one of the reasons why they had a tough time running the football last week, save for some big runs by Nugent. I think if you're able to go down the field consistently through the air, even if you're not completing every pass, you soften up that Edison secondary so that they can't bite down hard on the run, and that helps the entirety of your offense. It sets up play action and so on. It could lead to more of a multi-pronged attack for Old Bridge, something they'll need to take some of the pressure off of their junior signal caller.
And taking a look at Edison, the Eagles on the flip side, they're coming off a home win against East Brunswick 27-0, and it seems like the Knights, they've got a tough defense to go against. It just pitched a shutout, but now this Edison defense gets a tough test against a quality Old Bridge opponent in big-time need of a victory.
Well, if you're Edison, things could not have been any better. They only gave up 122 yards of offense last week against East Brunswick. They forced 5 turnovers, including 4 interceptions. That said, the score was only 7-0 at halftime, John, in that game last week. So that's when the offense had to take control. And that third quarter started with a 90-yard kickoff return for Naikir Ito, who also added 3 rushing touchdowns, part of a huge ground attack for the Eagles that put up over 200 yards on the ground and essentially defensively put the game away. They're going to test that defensive front for the Knights for sure today. And defensively, they're coming in with swagger of a team that's undefeated and unscored upon. No doubt, a huge test here today for Old Bridge.
All right, awesome stuff, Dave. We're going to step aside for just a few moments before kickoff. When we come back, Dave will be on the field with Old Bridge head coach Matt Donahue to get his thoughts on the game. Kickoff between Edison and Old Bridge is almost here, so make sure to stick around here on the PDF Sports Network.
Getting a home loan shouldn't feel like an obstacle course. At CMG Home Loans, getting a loan is simple. Our loan officers are here for you every step of the way. With over 2,000 five-star reviews, when you're ready to buy or refi, we'll work together to find the loan you need for the home you love. CMG Home Loans. Simplified, trusted, committed.
Since 2003, Elite Sports Physical Therapy of Morganville has developed customized care and physical therapy programs for thousands of athletes through evaluation and setting athletic goals. Whether a torn ACL, dislocated shoulder, or concussion is keeping you on the sidelines, our highly trained physical therapists can help you recover and return to the field or court in better shape than ever before. Come see what we are all about. Visit us at elitespt.com or call us today to book a consultation.
When it comes to buying and selling a home, do it with Peter Hunt's Home Team, powered by Century 21. For years, Peter has dedicated his life to the real estate industry, offering help and care to all of his clients. With experience and proven results, Peter is an award-winning realtor and the top producer for Century 21 Action Plus. A resident of Old Bridge, put Peter to work at selling your home or finding the home of your dreams. Call 1-800-299-2129 or reach Peter directly at 9086-014-934.
At Bagel Boy Bagel Shop in Old Bridge, we're more than just bagels. Come visit us at 2329 County Road 516, where we bake our bagels and bread fresh daily, have the freshest fruit and veggie platters, and an assortment of sandwiches and plates that are sure to satisfy. Bagel Boy is a proud sponsor of all things Old Bridge. Go Knights and go to Bagel Boy. 2329 County Road 516 and at bagelboyonline.com.
Old Bridge students, take advantage of the Old Bridge special at Bagel Boy. 10% off all purchases with your valid student ID.
Hello and welcome back to Lombardi Field at Old Bridge High School, home of the Old Bridge Knights. John McCooch here with you, and Dave has made his way down to the field or behind the field to talk to head coach Matt Donahue. Dave, take it away.
Okay, John, I am here behind the field with head coach Matt Donahue. Coach, tough loss last week, but your team showed a lot of resiliency, especially in that fourth quarter. Tell me about some of your takeaways from game one.
We did a lot of good things right last week. We actually came back, fought, battled to the end, came up short at the end. Our biggest goal this week is just to limit the mistakes that we had. We had a lot of mistakes, correctable mistakes, and first game jitters, for lack of better words. But I think, if we correct them, we're going to play better football.
Okay, big game by your star quarterback, now a junior, of course, in Nugent. Really great on the ground, had to throw the ball in the air, second half especially. Tell me about his development as a quarterback.
Yeah, you just watch him get better each week. Last year he got thrown in the fire as a sophomore and tried to pick up the offense. So he's very limited in what we could do last year with him, but now he has a good idea of what we want to do offensively, and he's pretty much given the ball and he takes it and run with it. So.
Okay, and finally, Coach Edison. They come in, a big win last week, a shutout win for them. You haven't seen them in many years as far as head-to-head. Tell me a little bit about what we know about them and how we have to attack them.
Yeah, they're very good. They got very good athletes on the outside. Running back's very good O-line, D-line, and they attack you on defense. So it's going to be a hard-fought battle today, both sides.
All right, Coach, thank you. Good luck today. You got it. All right, John, we'll send it back up to you. When we come down, we'll interview a couple players.
Great job, Dave. Coach Donahue was looking to get his team back in the win column against a quality Edison opponent. Dave is now with his second guest on the offensive side of the ball. Let's throw it down now to Dave, who's with Jaden Griffith.
Okay, John, I am here with Jaden Griffith, number one on the Old Bridge Knights. Jaden, tell me a little bit about last week's game. You caught that really big touchdown, electrified this crowd. Tell me a little bit some of the offensive takeaways from the game last week.
Honestly, we got a great quarterback back there in Brody Nugent, and we got a great receiving core. And we got a young line right now, but, they're still putting in the work, still getting things together, still getting things rolling. So this game, we're just going to come out, win, try to win the week, and just keep doing this every other week.
And Jaden, last week in the second half, 27 offensive points. Seems like you guys kind of broke out of that shell a little bit. Tell me about the carryover now into this game against Edison, what that does for your offense.
It fires us up, honestly. We're trying to score 35 or more today, and we're going to do that because our offense can't be stopped. So our goal today is to win. That's all it is.
All right. And Jaden, tell me a little bit about your personal development as a player here with the Knights, what you're looking to do week to week to improve on your game, of course, to finish out your career as strong as possible.
I'm just trying to help my team win. It doesn't really matter. If I get the ball, I get the ball. If I don't get the ball, I don't get the ball. I'm just trying to win. I'm trying to win these games. That's all I want. I just want to win. That's what I want. We didn't have a good season last season, so I'm trying to change that culture around.
All right, Jaden, we appreciate the time. Good luck today.
Thank you.
You got it. Jaden Griffith joins us, John. I'm going to work my way back up to the booth. We'll throw it over to you.
The Knights also have one of the more stout defenses in the region, and they had some flyers off the edge of their last game. Dave is joined by one of those guys on the defensive side of the ball, Zamir Evans. Dave, take it away.
All right, John, I am here with Zamir Evans, standout on the defensive side of the football for the Old Bridge Knights. Zamir, big game last week for you. Sack, a couple forced fumbles. Tell me a little bit about your takeaways from game one against Woodbridge.
I feel I played a great game, but the team, we all played good together, but we just got to finish. We got to work strong the whole game instead of being selfish and just doing our own things. That's what it seemed like we did the whole game. But we just got to be more of a team.
Okay, Zamir, as far as heading into this week and facing this Edison team, what do we know about them offensively that you have to be keen on defensively to stop them?
They do a lot of rolling out, a lot of tosses, a lot of stuff that you would know what they're doing based on who's where. And if you really pay attention, then it's over. You can stop them easy.
All right. Zamir, tell me a little bit about your career personally, the way you've been developed as a player and some of the things that you look to do personally, game in and game out, to get better.
So I'm from Plainfield. I started off there. I worked my way up. I eventually came out here. I just kept going. I got better over time, and I just kept doing my thing, and that's really it, really.
All right, Zamir, it's a pleasure watching you play. Good luck out there today.
Thank you.
All right, that's Zamir Evans, John. We'll throw it back up to you upstairs.
Great job, Dave and Zamir. While we wait for Dave to get back up to the booth, we will step aside for a break, and when we come back, the Knights will be ready to take on the Eagles.
Tonight's game is sponsored by Old Bridge Pizzeria. Established in 1978, Old Bridge Pizzeria offers the finest Italian cuisine in Old Bridge and the surrounding communities. Every item, including our pizza dough, is made fresh daily with only the finest ingredients? Order now and get your food to enjoy during the rest of the game, or stop on by any time at 3165 US Highway 9 in Old Bridge, or place your order now at oldbridgepizza.com. Old Bridge Pizza, proud sponsor of Old Bridge football.
Welcome to the All-American Ford Bronco Barn. That's right, we turned part of our showroom into a Ford Bronco Barn. All-American Ford in Old Bridge has the largest selection and best prices. Our Bronco Barn features custom Broncos, Bronco heritage signage, accessories, and more. All-American Ford in Old Bridge is truly your Ford Bronco headquarters, and there's something for everyone from the Big Ben trim level to specialty Broncos. Ride topless in a Bronco from All-American Ford. Visit us in Old Bridge or shop online at allamericanfordinoldbridge.com.
Sammy D's is your neighborhood bar and the place to be for good times, great events, and the best drinks and spirits. With a fine selection of beers, wines, and mixed drinks, we offer a great selection of fine cold craft and IPA beers from local New Jersey breweries. Come shop our excellent wine and bourbon selections as well. See you at Sammy's. Sammy D's, located at 3129 US Highway 9 in Old Bridge.
Who's ready for some football? I'm John McCouis, joined alongside David Pizzuto for kickoff, about to be underway here for the Old Bridge Knights. They won the toss and also chose to receive the kickoff, which is always an interesting choice. I'm sure we're going to have some conversation about that decision. But the Old Bridge Knights, they want the ball. They want to go down the field and score. Kickoff is underway, and he will take the fair catch. And that will do it for the kickoff. And we are underway, Dave. How we doing?
Yeah, absolutely. John, just want to make sure, our levels are okay.
We're on the air.
Yeah, just want to make sure sound-wise we're good. But
absolutely.
Yeah, you know what, John, we spoke about it while we were at commercial break, the game within the game, right? You win the coin toss and you elect to get the ball first, which means, in my opinion anyway, that Coach Donahue wants to control field position. And that's something that was a big, factor in the game last week against Woodbridge, being able to switch the field and control the tempo of the game.
And now the Old Bridge offense, led by Brody Nugent, the quarterback of the Knights. They love to run the ball with this guy, just about 100 yards in the last game against Woodbridge in that loss. We'll see if they kind of go with more of a passing approach or if Nugent is going to just take this thing and run with it. Nugent waits for some signals, gets them. Should be ready for the play. Edison playing up quite a bit defensively. They'll run it with Nugent. Nugent's going to take it to the outside. He'll pick up a few yards, just about 4 or 5. Here on this first play of the game, and they are establishing that run with Brody Nugent.
Yeah, and that's something that obviously they want to be able to do, right, John? We spoke about that a little bit during the opening as well, but starting out with an empty backfield, too, is a pretty big tell that Nugent is probably going to handle the ball himself if there is going to be a run on the play.
See how many running backs get some touches today. 3 did get touches in the last game, but Jeremiah Dixon had the most with 5. Nugent took the ball 15 times last game. Something about teams in purple and using their quarterback to run the ball quite a bit.
Right.
Saw that on Thursday with the Baltimore Ravens. I believe Jackson ran it 16 times. Only gave the ball to Derrick Henry 13. So Brody Nugent, we got to make the comparison somehow. Second down at about 5.
Well, especially after last week's game where we saw some tremendous runs by Nugent, just making nothing out of something and even more.
Yep.
4 rushing touchdowns in the game last week. He had 7 all of last season.
He's already got 4. Keeps the averages up, will break that, but we will see. Nugent takes a snap, goes for the sweep again, fakes it, he takes it, bounces out of the outside. Brody Nugent, he's got the first down and plenty. Nugent is tough to tackle for this Edison defense, who pitched a shutout in the last game, but Nugent picks up the first down and more on another quarterback keeper.
Yeah, a little bit of misdirection right there at the line of scrimmage, and then he's able to kind of turn it in on the inside, and it's something that we saw from him last week as well, his willingness to go between the tackles as well to get the hard yards.
3 receivers out to the left yet again. Same formation for the Old Bridge Knights. Edison running 2 high safeties now in this look. It's one of those moments where you probably know what might be coming. Nugent's already taking the ball a couple times. He'll take it again. He's going to look to throw this time. Rolls out to his left. Nugent waiting for receivers. Escapes a defender, and he's going to just take this one out of bounds. Should be about a loss, or just got back to the line of scrimmage for Brody Nugent here.
Just backing up to that prior play, John, you see on the replay, of course, the misdirection right there at the line of scrimmage allows him to go off tackle right. And, you're going to get a lot of white jerseys going in one direction. And Nugent going in the opposite direction, that usually is a good sign for the Knights.
There's nothing more beautiful in football than misdirections and counters when it works successfully, and the Old Bridge Knights really running that offense today. Now 3 receivers out to the right for Nugent, the left-handed quarterback. The junior number 16 waits for his signals. Again, Edison still playing their safeties really up in this defensive look because Old Bridge is going to try to pound this rock. And he'll take it again. He's going to split between a tackle and an outside player. And he picks up a few yards, probably about a couple, maybe. That'll bring it up to 2nd down. Here for Brody Nugent and his Old Bridge offense. So Edison kind of stopping that quarterback keeper there again.
Yeah, it'll be 3rd down here, John, because didn't get anything on the second, on the first play. But, yeah, in that time you get about half the distance that you need for that 1st down. But the first big test here for this Old Bridge offense, obviously very early here, 3rd and medium. A lot of things on the table. The keeper still there, obviously. Throw in the flat. They do have trips to the right side.
Trips to the right side. First time a running back is in the backfield with Nugent. Another receiver out to his left. Nugent takes a snap, rolls out. He's got 3 defenders in front of him, but he makes the completion and the 1st down here for the Old Bridge Knights. Jeremiah Dixon making the reception and picking up the 1st down for the Knights.
Yeah, and what a look by Nugent. You know, that play looked like it was going to be blown up right from the start.
Right.
And I know they're looking to go quickly here, so we'll get to the replay in just a moment. But what a great look by Nugent to know who his safety valve was in the flat, and Dixon was wide open as we have the penalty.
Looks like he got the defender to jump.
We take another look at that play, though, John, and we could see Nugent's eyes going from right then to left, right there. And Dixon there to pick up the pieces, gets slammed out of bounds, but not before the huge 1st down.
Sean Garland will get the penalty for Edison, and that'll give them 5 yards as well. But great composure by Nugent to just see 3 defenders in your face and still make a completion, stay stout, stay composed. That's what they needed from him in the last game, and he looks just comfortable today.
Right.
Whether he's throwing or running.
And after going in the empty backfield, now he's got Dixon to his right.
He'll take the carry. Might have got back to the line of scrimmage. Dixon takes the carry there for the Knights after the penalty.
Yep, and, you know, you need to do that, John. It's a requisite just to keep the defense, you know, honest and staying at home. You know, in between the tackles, you run Dixon there, and obviously you'd like to get more than just a no gain there, but still gives you another look.
Nugent waits the play. He's got 2 receivers on both sides. Dixon behind him all the way in the backfield. Nugent takes that snap. He's looking, stays in the pocket, and he'll look to escape now. Tucks it, then brings it back. Tries to juke a defender. He does. Gets through. Brody Nugent going down the field. He gets a block, and he will get this thing into the red zone for the Old Bridge Knights.
Well, just a few things on that play, John. Number one, it all starts with the tremendous amount of time that he had, and then he's able to, you know, look away a defender, and next thing you know, he's getting off to the sideline for the huge gain. Sets him up in the red zone.
Nugent one clap, looks to the sideline, and just again, Nugent staying composed. We'll have a whistle blown here as well. Looks like a timeout. Potentially for Edison. They pointed towards that sideline.
Gives us a chance to look at that last play. And, John, you could see just the amount of time. Nugent looking left, then right, and then scampering, and then showing the ability to continue to look downfield and tucking it at the last second. And you could see the moves there. He doesn't need a large window to operate in order to make something out of nothing. We saw that last week, and there's proof of that again.
And he shook Aiden Nagy out of his cleats as well.
Right.
I think we're sleeping on the juke there. That was just that started it all. Get the move past the defender, get a block, pick up about 20.
Do we know who took that last time out, John?
I believe it might have been an official timeout. Okay. I did see a point to the Edison sideline.
Christian confirming, our camera operator, that was official time.
Nugent out to his right, makes a throw, and it's a touchdown, Old Bridge, back at the end zone. Brody Nugent. Oh my goodness. What a throw. What a way to stay composed, and the Knights get 6 to start it off on the first drive. That's why you take the ball.
You know what? Couldn't have said it better myself, John. That's exactly why you get the ball first. And, Nugent only his second passing attempt of that drive, but you could see how it develops here with the replay coming up, and just very patient. Again, it starts with a little bit of time, making his own by rolling out and throwing across his body. Great look there. And the result is the touchdown. Tremendous job, and now Michael to make it a 7-point game.
The kick is up. And that kick is good. 7-0 for the Old Bridge Knights. Camel Lavencia catches the touchdown in the back of the end zone. What a throw by Mr. Nugent, the lefty. Call him Tebow. Clutch, composed, staying ready. Doesn't matter how many guys are in his face. He's making the throw. He's getting it done here. Jaden Griffin before the game. We've got a great quarterback. I think he's right.
Yeah, 100%. We'll get another look at it as well. Just a little bit slowed down so you could see the movements of Nugent in the backfield, and you could see the route developing at the top of your screen. Olavencia gets past. There's no safety help there.
Right.
And the perfectly placed ball. Great look, Christian, on the camera.
Phenomenal.
There, and just a great job, and let the celebration begin.
Edison's, they're not running the safeties very deep, and Nugent's been reading that, waiting for it. He's seen it a lot on the keeper, and he said, you know what, I'm just going to throw this thing over the top. Get it done. I mean, again, 3 defenders, 3 defensive linemen right in front of him. He took a big hit as well. Make that throw back to the end zone touchdown. Old Bridge up 7-0. The Edison Eagles will have to respond here in Old Bridge.
Tremendous start. And again, you think back to the coin toss and electing to take the ball and make a statement early. That's why you do it.
Coach Donahue confident in his offense. He knows that they want redemption after last week, the loss to Woodbridge, as this kickoff taken by the Eagles. Trying to bounce it out outside, now back inside. He's going to get some yards here. He's going to get this all the way to about midfield of 46. What a run and run back on the kickoff return by Dedrick Harvey.
Yeah, Harvey did a great job, the senior here, on the bit of a pooch kick, keeping the up men honest on that play, and Harvey did a great job with it.
Great work. That's the kind of response you need, at least on special teams. But now it's up to this Edison offense to get things done. Can they respond? They've got good field position, down 7-0 here early in this game. Great run back by Harvey as well. 2 with him in the backfield. Handoff. Trucks a man and picks up about 4 here on that play.
Well, we're going to be saying Ito's name a lot in this game.
Yes.
He was the bell cow last week for the Edison Eagles, and for good reason. Scored 3 times on the ground. Added a kickoff return for a touchdown as well in that 27-0 game. But now Edison needs him more than ever, down for the first time this season after yielding their first points of the 2024 campaign.
Didn't take long for Old Bridge to break that. Anthony Calantoni, the quarterback for Edison. Ito in the backfield. He's got motion out to his left. Flag down on the play. Ito takes the handoff. He goes over a man, picks up the first down, but we will await the penalty on this play. But you already see the athleticism and the hard running of Ito.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, there might have been a little bit too much movement in the backfield prior to the play.
Sideline warning against the Knights.
It's a sideline warning.
Oh, wow. So we had Savion Mitchell going around the backfield to his left. Maybe there was some kind of illegal motion on that play. Didn't see the right side of the line.
See Ito going airborne here a little bit.
Oh my goodness. He's a wrestler. That's that athleticism, that flexibility. Just go up. He's used to being up in the air. So Ito definitely will be the bell cow today. 19 carries for 137 yards, 7.2 yards a carry in the last game for the Eagles against East Brunswick. Galantoni takes a snap. He's got a hole up the middle, but he's wrapped up. He'll pick up some yardage, but a great tackle from Michael Kavas.
Yeah, Kavas had a really nice game last week, John, and he was able to catch up there and keep that to a minimal gain. Nice job.
Galantoni takes off just a little bit earlier. He might have a first down and maybe some more, but great tackle by Kavas, saving a play there. But Edison, they're past midfield already after the great field position here on second down. Thank you, PA announcer, announcing that we're on PDF Sports Network.
I appreciate that. Downstairs from the crew.
That's great. Always great guys out there. Ito will take the handoff. He's going to bounce out to the outside. He's got a bit of a hole to pick up the first down, and he is a hard runner to tackle. Every time he's been brought down, he's always bringing somebody down with him.
Yeah,
first down for Edison.
I was going to say, when he turns around that corner, John, and he starts picking up that head of steam, that's a big dude down there clearing a path for himself. So Edison wants to work quickly. We'll get you the replay of that one.
Ito just such a great running back, such a great player, starting to get discovered here in Edison. Gets around his defender, and man, they're just defender. You have to go low against that guy. You got to gator wrap him if you want to bring him down. That's that Derrick Henry type of tackling you got to do. 2 in the backfield, handoff back to Ito again. He takes it outside, loses some yardage, but there is a flag. Depending on the flag, they may decline this if he did lose a couple yards there.
Yeah,
here on first down.
Got a loss of about 2 or 3 on the play, and we'll get the official call there on your screen. But yeah, it looks like Ito, when he's going off tackle, makes that wide round corner,
right,
John, and just builds up that head of steam. And that time, the Knights doing a good job of staying home and sniffing that out and keeping him in the backfield. That's going to be key with Ito today.
Right, it really is key. I mean, how do you, throughout the game, he's going to get the ball a lot. We're awaiting the penalty here. How do you stay, really energy-wise, how do you continue to not get tired, to tackle this guy consistently? It's going to be tough. He's going to get the ball a lot.
Yeah, of course, the old saying with defensive coaches also is, don't go to where he is, go to where he is going to be. And that, I think, is going to be key for the Knights. You don't worry about surrendering 2 and 3 yards on these carries, as the ball is still placed at the original line of scrimmage now. There is still a conversation going on. I don't think either. Looks like the call wasn't officially made and the yardage wasn't taken off either. So go back here and get the official word.
Right. Let's see what waiting on the old zebra stripe signals.
Well, they're still conferencing. Looks like Edison wants to run a play, but
these two teams are ready to go, and the officials are saying, "Wait a minute, we got to talk."
Yeah.
So
these young men on both sides, John, just spot the football down. Let's go. Right. Let's play. And pretty typical here of two teams looking to get after one another and early in the season, but they'll have a long conversation about it.
They will. These two teams haven't played each other in a long time. Back in 2017.
Yeah.
Old Bridge took that win. So it's a bit of that's a while ago. The math on that. There we go. 2010. Old Bridge does lead the series 7-1-1. Got to remember there's some ties in football back in the day. Last time Edison won this game was in 2010, a 41-28 win, and obviously the 2017 game, 17-0. So, in terms of the 2000s after 10, 1-1. But obviously these high school football rivalries and matchups, they go back a long time because these schools have been around for quite a bit, although Old Bridge has been around as long, but it is just one of those early things in high school football. Edison a bit more up north, Old Bridge down here, closer to South Jersey. That Middlesex County rivalries maybe brewing here. We'll see how this game goes, though. These teams do play each other a bit more in the future, and we are still awaiting the official word.
They're moving it up 5 yards, John, it looks like. So whatever the pre-snap penalty was, it was against Old Bridge. And the down marker still says first down, so it'll be first down and 5.
There we go. Cal Antoni looking to lead this offense to a response after the Old Bridge Knights took the ball and immediately drove down the field. And Ito met by a bunch of Knights. And he will be taken down for a loss on that 1st and 5.
Yeah, we talked to him during pregame. Big number 5, Zamir Evans.
Yep.
Clogging up some space in the middle. And actually it was a 1st and 10 the last play.
Okay.
John, now they moved up the down markers, but that's a loss of 3 on first down. So we'll change our down and distance to reflect the proper amount there. 2nd down and 13 after the 3-yard loss.
12 o'clock is early by football standards when the last day was supposed to be at 7 o'clock, so everyone's getting adjusted.
Right.
Lantoni takes it, almost bobbled it, but has to take it himself, and he is met and taken down to the ground hard. It looked like maybe some sort of botched play, bit of a read.
Well, looked like a read option that Callantoni waited until the last possible nanosecond to tuck it down. Good thing he did, John, because it looked like that play was another play that was going to be blown up in the backfield.
And you saw him great concentration to realize, I'm going to lose the ball. I got to get it back.
Yeah, and we'll take another look at it slowed down so we get to see a little bit of the decision-making in the backfield. But look, recognize, oh, yeah, that was bobbled.
He might have tried to hand that ball off, I think.
He might have. It just looked like it was a little late as we get back to live action here.
Right. Because you see Leonard Whetstone kind of look back. Where's the ball? Galantoni takes a snap. Long distance to go. He's got to work around. Almost falls down, looking for somebody down the field, and he will be almost sacked, able to get rid of it. Great pressure. They're looking for grounding, I think, here.
Well, the initial call was incomplete pass. I was looking at the official the entire way. But no flag on the play, and so it will be 4th and 10. And Galantoni, a few different times on that play, looked like he wanted to throw the ball down the field, maybe even tuck it down, but not to be.
Coach on the sideline looks like Coach Donahue running to the line of scrimmage saying that's where the line of scrimmage is, and there's the flag. He did not get this ball back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, you be the judge here, John. Let's see.
Right. So he had to really escape. Almost fell down for a sack.
Line of scrimmage is at the 26-yard line.
Right, we'll see.
And that ball lands at about there, but
yeah.
But case was made, and the verdict in favor of Old Bridge.
It's one of the few times that, I guess, complaining, for lack of a better term, about the call worked.
Yep.
Major petition, loss of down for Edison, and the flag was thrown after a conversation between officials.
So 10-yard penalty, loss of down, makes it 4th and 20. And now, John, what we thought would probably be a likely go for it on 4th down in no man's land, now it looks like Edison is bringing in the punt team.
Kind of no choice there. So Edison got good field position, picked up by the end of it, not as many yards as you actually would think after the penalty, but they did get close to the red zone. So close to a response for the Eagles, but now Old Bridge will have to field this punt. If you get a good punt here, you're going to pin Old Bridge back. So not the worst scenario if you can win the field position battle. Only a 7-0 game for Edison. About 4:42 left to go in the first quarter. We're waiting on the punt here. Returner back for Old Bridge. I believe that's Nugent.
Yeah, certainly looks like him back there.
So the quarterback, punter, punt returner. And the punt looking to be fielded by Nugent. Nugent will take it himself. This kid's an athlete, and he'll get some yards just to about the 16, 17-yard line. He'll salvage what he can, and a flag on the play. Old Bridge thinks it's on Edison, I think.
Yeah, it looked like a late hit, out of bounds, perhaps, at least judging by the way the flag came down and when it did. And we'll pick up the final half of that play here, John, and see if we can pick it up.
So Nugent stiff arms a man, and that was hit out of bounds.
Take it down.
He did.
Yep.
It might have been that extra slam out of bounds onto the ground that caused the flag to be thrown. So that's going to help them a ton when it comes to field position.
Yeah, it's kind of like the completion of the play there is really what was taken exception to. We'll slow it down a little bit and show you the replay once again.
If you push him out of bounds, and maybe you're a little bit late, flag probably doesn't come out because this initial tackle starts out of bounds and he's brought down to the ground. So that flag will come out in those situations. So good field position for Edison now. They have the ball at about the 35-yard line after the 15-yard penalty.
And when you think about it, the net was only 2 yards on the punt when you mix in the penalty flag, as we have a pre-snap penalty here. Fingers pointing in both directions. Looks like this one will go against Old Bridge, and it will.
That it will. Looks like the right tackle moved a bit on that play. So the good field position by the penalty gets negated to now a 10-yard gain after the return by Nugent.
And you give credit to Nugent there, because even at first I'm thinking maybe you let that ball bounce, don't play it or fair catch it at the 8-yard line. It's really tough. You're backed up, but he makes the decision to take it out, returns it to the 16, and, making, again, something out of nothing.
Nugent hands it off to Dixon. He runs into his own lineman, and he will lose a few yards on this play. Edison gets a stop on first down.
Yeah, and that's something that really hurt Old Bridge last week, John, was the penalties that really got them started. 1st and 15, 1st and 20. They had a host of holding calls as well in the game. And you get the sense that those things really destroyed drives or really interrupted good progress. And there you go. You start off at your own 36-yard line, 35-yard line specifically. You take the pre-snap penalty. Now you get bottled up on first down. And next thing you know, it's 2nd down and 17.
when you get opportunities, you have to take advantage of them.
Yep.
Old Bridge unable to take advantage so far. Second down and quite long. Here for the Old Bridge Knights, trips out to the right of Nugent. Dixon with him in the backfield. He takes it. This will be a little bubble screen out, but he drops it. They might have called that a fumble on the field. Looks like they'll just blow this one dead.
Well, whistle never sounded until after Dixon picked it up and started running with it. Now, I don't think they said it was incomplete, John, because they're moving this ball back 2 yards. So if they indeed backed this ball up, that was a live ball.
So great job then to pick it back up and prevent a key turnover. I mean, if you fumble the ball there and you give Edison this field position with about 3:32 left in the first quarter, that is a tough turnover. But
well, we'll see it really quick. Is this a forward pass?
You be the judge. That's a lateral.
It's on
I think.
a line, yeah.
That's a lateral.
I think that's a good call.
Right. Second down, about 19.
Let's go back a little bit.
I believe that would be qualified as a lateral.
Well, they did return it to the original line of scrimmage, though,
Right.
John. So I think they're going to go final answer, incomplete pass.
We'll make that the Jeopardy question.
Right.
Was the Old Bridge play a fumble or not? There's a quick screen for the Knights trying to get outside, but he is wrapped up by an Eagle. What a tackle by Nagy.
Yeah, so Nagy makes a great open field tackle on that play. Looked like it could be a very dangerous play developing underneath, of course, with the underneath screen. But nice job by the Eagles to sniff that one out. Great open field tackle, and they're going to force a punt here by Nugent.
John Raimondo took that screen. They tried to, probably a play where you just try to make some more room for your punter.
Sure.
In that situation, that punter being Brody Nugent.
But there we have another example of starting a drive out with a pre-snap penalty, and it derails the rest of the drive.
Nugent will take this punt. Good boot out and away. This one will roll, and it will be returned by the Eagles. He's going to bounce this out to the left side, and he loses the football. Loses the football. Old Bridge, they've got it.
Well, Michael Kavas came down with it while the scrum was still going on. He came out with the ball. Big break, big break. They decided to pick that one up and start running with it, John, and it hurt them, that decision, as we'll get another look at it here and see if we could spot where this fumble occurs, who might have even forced it.
It's like Landon Cruz looking to return this, made a move, and the hat was on it. Get your hat on it, get the ball out, and create a turnover. I believe he forced the fumble and got it, did Kavas. So Michael Kavas, what a play.
So how about that for a turn of events? Old Bridge gets it back, 1st and 10.
But now for Old Bridge, take advantage.
Right.
Don't get a pre-snap penalty. Here just beyond the 50-yard line, about the 47 and a half. Here for Nugent in this offense. Nugent drops back, throws that ball down the sideline. Can he get a play on it? Will Griffith has to jump back, draws the penalty. Great play by Griffith. And that will be pass interference.
And it was one of the cases where that ball being underthrown, John, actually helped in that matter draw the penalty. As we're going to take another look at it, slow down once again. But it was because Griffith had to adjust to the route and the ball being thrown short. There he goes, has to stop his route and
takes a jump.
Too much jockeying, yeah.
Takes a jump.
Harvey guilty of the infraction, and
right. Sometimes you've got to sell it a little bit to get the flag, though it was definitely a penalty. But we'll see if Old Bridge has a theater program. Great acting job by Griffith.
So they do it again, 15 yards further up the field, just outside the 30-yard line here. Old Bridge in business, up by a score.
Trips out to the right, nobody with Nugent. This is usually a keeper, but they might have got another offside penalty from the Edison Eagles.
Yep, and we saw how a pre-snap penalty derailed an Old Bridge drive. Now they get the benefits of 2 quick penalties at the start of drive number 3, and now it's 1st and 5.
Like it was on Jameer Mosley, the sophomore defensive lineman, plugging the middle. He did jump. Nugent great with a hard count so far in this game. He's drawn a couple of those now. Same formation for the Knights. As they approach the red zone here with 2:29 in the first quarter, Nugent looks to his right, tries to escape, and he does for a moment, but he gets sacked.
Absolutely. That time Nugent did wise to just try and tuck it down and cover the ball. Did not expect to be converged on that quickly. Loss of 3 on the play.
Every time you see Brody Nugent take some pressure, you think he's going to find a way to escape out of it. Almost did right there. But he will be sacked. Loses some yards on this play. I mean, he got through 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders almost. But he just wasn't able to get past that defensive line and lost some yardage. So saved what could have been a 6-7 yard loss and made a 3-yard loss at the end of the day. 2 receivers on both sides of Nugent. Dixon with him in the backfield. Nugent will hand this one off to Dixon, and Dixon will get closer to the marker for the Old Bridge Knights. Picks up about 4 or 5.
Yeah, and to me, that's a really good positive play for Old Bridge because they need to develop someone other than Nugent getting the ball and powering down the heart of this defense. And it's the first positive play they've gotten minus Nugent's involvement in the run game.
Nugent waiting on his signals.
It's got to feel good for Dixon, too.
Yeah, he probably wants the ball.
He's been met in the backfield one too many times, if you ask me.
Absolutely. I mean, he's ran into his own lineman on a play as well. Nugent has to corral that one. Gets it out to Griffith. Will be first down yardage. What a play to take the snap high and still make a throw on the football.
Yeah, that was a great catch, too, by Griffith. We're not going to have a chance to view it at least after this play, but we will in the next one. Remember, he has to keep 1 foot in and with full possession. First down inside the red zone.
He might have got a knee down. That could have been a catch on Sundays, too. But what a catch by Griffith, like you mentioned. Trips right for Nugent in this offense. Dixon's still in the backfield. And now the Knights can just do about whatever. Griffith in motion to his left. Hands it off to Dixon, and Dixon's got a hole, and Dixon's got a touchdown, Old Bridge! 2-score lead for the Knights.
Confetti flies right into our broadcast booth, if you will.
All over my notes.
Thank you for the shower. But, wow, what a run. And they busted it out. They caught the lane on the interior, and a tremendous job by Dixon to do the rest.
I just got a confetti popper up into the booth, but what a run by Dixon. Great blocks. Just that, you cannot make a bigger hole than that for the Old Bridge offense. What a run, what a play, and that is how you break this game wide open. The kick is up, and it appears to be good by the naked eye, and it's good by the officials. 14-0 here at Lombardi Field in Old Bridge, New Jersey.
Well, we said it at the end of the last time Dixon carried the ball. Good positive play to get 4 yards up the middle. You give Edison something else to think about in the mix. And again, on a big third down, you expect the ball to be in Nugent's hands. Instead, they give it underneath. Actually, that was on the first down after the conversion, but still, you give it to Dixon, change of pace, if you will, and he's able to take it into a house. And, we'll see that again on replay just to see how the hole opens up, and we'll slow it down a little bit so we can get a chance to view it. But, yeah, just very simple underneath handoff here.
Just beautiful.
A little bit of over pursuit by Edison.
Edison thinks that ball's going right on the handoff. They probably think Nugent's going to keep it. But Dixon has a wide open lane, wide open spaces here in Old Bridge, New Jersey. What a run and what a play. Usually you use the run, the running back run, to specify to open up the quarterback keepers, the play actions. Old Bridge does it the opposite way. Run with the quarterback, open everything else up. So 14-0 is your lead here at Lombardi Field on the PDF Sports Network. About 48.5 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Jaden Griffith said, we want 35. They're getting there. Here's the return, and he's got some space. Almost had a hole. Picks up decent yardage. Edison has picked up some yards on these kick returns. Lanier Whetstone takes that return and gets it again closer to the 40-yard line. So 41.3 seconds left to go. Old Bridge up 14-0 here against the Edison Eagles after a loss to Woodbridge last Friday. Game gets rescheduled to 12 o'clock. Doesn't matter. We'll meet them at high noon. say the Old Bridge Knights. They're up 14-0.
Take the extra night's rest and come back here fully recharged. And should mention we don't have the clock on our screen, John, but 41 seconds remaining in the first quarter. A very eventful first quarter for Old Bridge.
Option play. Option goes inside, and it goes up the middle. He's still breaking down defenders. Gets the first down, and plenty did Sean Garland on that option. Looked like he had Ito to his right as well, but just stuffed it up the middle like Mahomes would do to Kelsey, and he picks up plenty of yardage for the first down. About 15 or 16 on the play.
Yeah, so just when you think Ito is the one you have to focus on, in comes Garland. You could see it there. Nice toss underneath. And it takes about 7 Knights to touch Garland before he gets spilled to the turf. In Old Bridge territory now. Edison 1st and 10 at the 45.
Surprised you don't do 2 back looks with Garland and Ito if he's going to run like that.
Looks like that'll be the end, perhaps, of the first quarter.
Looks like it will. Looks like that will wrap up the first quarter here on the PDF Sports Network. Dave, what a job by the Old Bridge Knights here in this game, but we will step aside for just a couple moments. 14-0 is your score here in Old Bridge. Knights up 14-0.
Getting a home loan shouldn't feel like an obstacle course. At CMG Home Loans, getting a loan is simple. Our loan officers are here for you every step of the way. With over 2,000 5-star reviews, when you're ready to buy or refi, we'll work together to find the loan you need for the home you love. CMG Home Loans. Simplified, trusted, committed.
So about that was actually a timeout called on the field, so the end of the first quarter is still approaching. One more play for the Edison Eagles. They called a timeout, I believe. It was a timeout by Edison, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll get one more play here at Lombardi Field, and then we'll step aside yet again. A timeout called on the field. 2.1 seconds on the game clock. Official set. Cannelloni is set. Ito to his left. Brings him out in motion. Screens it over to Ito. Ito's got some room. He's going to bounce it out on the outside. Picks up the first down. And a solid play to end the first quarter this time for Edison. The Edison Eagles driving down the field here in Old Bridge. But the Knights up 14-0 here in this game. And I can confirm that is the end of the first quarter this time. Don't worry, I'm not mistaken. We'll step aside for just a couple moments here on the PDF Sports Network.
Old Bridge Football is sponsored by Lettering.com. Order vinyl lettering with unmatched production efficiency. With one-day turnaround and free shipping, we are unmatched when it comes to signage, boat lettering, mailboxes, window lettering, and of course, helmets and sports apparel. Free shipping always, and the best prices around. It's Lettering.com for all of your lettering needs.
And we're back here in Old Bridge. The Edison Eagles down 14-0 to the Old Bridge Knights. Fakes the handoff with the opposite hand. Cannelloni, he's got some room, but he gets wrapped up by an Old Bridge Knight. And that is how the Edison Eagles decide to start the second quarter.
Right back to the ground, John. They've got a couple of good plays there. Last one on the swing as well. So here we go, 2nd down and 4.
The Eagles running attack. Edison runs that rock all the time, and it worked against East Brunswick. They're still trying to find the run here at Old Bridge. Obviously, a big kickoff return fumble is the reason this is a 14-0 game.
Right.
So the Eagles, still plenty of time to respond, but Old Bridge has come out flying. However, they've given up good field position to Edison so far in this game. So we'll see what this offense can do. Galantoni hands it off over towards Harvey. Harvey unable to pick up much, if anything.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be 3rd down and 4 as Evans makes another tackle. And, yeah, you know what? It's a good point. If you're Coach Yasko, you're down by 2 scores here, but, if not for that fumble, you get the ball back essentially in really good field position, feeling pretty good about what you've been able to do. You pretty much stopped Old Bridge on a 3-and-out the last time you had him. So it's almost like pushing the restart button, and you've done some things well going to that run game, but now let's see here on 3rd and 5.
You've got to play like it's 0-0 every time. 3rd down at about 6 for the Edison Eagles. A key 3rd down in this game. Drops back, throws a dart. Is that enough for the 1st down? It looked like he just might have got to that line, but the ball will be spotted. Looks like just short of the marker. Chains do not move. You got to go for it here, right?
I would think so, yeah, unless Edison has a fantastic kicker here, but we'll get another chance to look at it, slow down here, and you be the judge. Yeah, it did look like where he came down with that ball was just about a full yard short.
Yard to a half a yard short for the Eagles. I mean, when you've got a running back that's as good as Nikirito, they could all know where the ball's going. He can get a yard.
We have a timeout here. Looks like it's being called by the Knights, and it will.
On a huge 4th down coming up for both squads. You get this stop, you're up 14-0 with the ball, but the Eagles have a chance to rebound, and they need a touchdown on this drive to stay in this game. They're on 4th down and 1 with 9:43-ish to go in a 14-0 game. So, Dave, you'd expect this ball to go to Ito, right?
I would. Just pound it right up the middle or right off tackle, because that's really where things have worked. I don't like a Catalano keeper in this position. I truly don't. I don't like an option play. I think you just have to run smash mouth football right here. Just pretend that ball's at the 1 yard line and you have 1 down to score. And all you need is that push. And, when Ito squares up those shoulders and puts that head down and barrels forward, that's a big guy to take down.
You also have Sean Garland as well, who brought down 7 defenders on his own on a bit of an option pitch. So you've got a couple options here, and it looks like Garland and Ito will be around each other if Garland stays in the backfield here. Could get a good push. So Galantoni, and about the pistol. Here on 4th down and 1. Someone jumped, and it looks like it's an Edison false start potentially, but we will await the official call. False start on the offense, and wow, that's a huge mistake on a 4th down and 1.
Yeah, what a killer there, John. So now it forces you to reach a little bit deeper in the playbook here, and we'll see. And now a lot more is on the table here. You can roll Catalano out. You could still, look for that swing pass or the give underneath, but it's going to take a pretty good play here. Remember, they went to that out route that worked so well for Woodbridge last week. You think that maybe Edison watched that tape that we showed, and, Brian Anderson having so much success on that right sideline with the out pattern, and that's where they went last play. Let's see if they go there again.
So they will take it again. Galantoni looking for somewhere. He got bumped on the outside. No flag down, and a 4th down stop for the Old Bridge Knights. They get off the field.
Yeah, Galantoni looked a little bit indecisive, John, as he went back there, and I think part of that indecision was due to the rush that he was under. We'll take another look at it here on your screen, but you could see with the runner in motion, Oldbridge is on top of him right away, and yeah, it looked like he wanted to go there right from the jump, but just wasn't a lot of real estate there with which to move around for Garland, who is the intended receiver, and Old Bridge will take over at their own 28-yard line.
Looked like Garland also took a bit of a bump, so Galantoni thinks he's going to get a bit more of a break down the sideline. Defensive line will shift for Edison. 2 receivers on both sides. Jeremiah Dixon moves now to Nugent's left. Brody Nugent hands it off to Dixon, and Dixon's got some running room. Jeremiah Dixon picks up the first down on first down, and the Old Bridge Knights are rolling.
Yep, they now have developed something here, John. They've seen the opportunity there, but there is a penalty down, and it looks like it will be a hold against Old Bridge, but we will go back and watch it again.
So it was a great run, but we will definitely look to see if we can spot the hold. Looks like there was definitely a hold there on the inside by, looks like, the left guard. Brought an eagle down. And you'll get that call every single time. First down and 20 for the Old Bridge Knights with about 9:31 left to go in this second quarter and this first half. The Knights still up 14-0. Nugents, they've got 5 wide right now. And usually when you see 5 wide, you're thinking it's a pass, but with this Old Bridge offense, the keeper's always in play.
Yeah, usually the empty backfield is a tip-off that Nugent's going to tuck this one down and run. Well, let's see. Looks like he's throwing all the way.
He's looking. He's going deep, and it's just over his defender by a few yards, his receiver by a few yards on that play. Amari Allsbrook was the intended receiver, and Edison able to get a play there defensively, but Old Bridge, they were looking to take a shot.
Yeah, I think Allsbrook may have picked that up a little bit late, John, because it looked like he slowed his route down a little bit, whereas if he would have kept it on a line, maybe he would have been lined up with the ball a little bit better, but I think he had a little bit of difficulty tracking that ball when it was released. In any event, second down and long.
A bit of sun there above us, peeking through the clouds right now, so there could have also been something with that vision going in that direction too. Trips out left. Here on the second down and now 20. Nugent takes it. Looking for some room, can pick up a couple. Brody Nugent had to take it himself. That'll make it third down and about 17.
Yeah, great job that time by the Edison defense of really, limiting Nugent's ability to get on the outside and forcing him to step up in the pocket where there were more white jerseys. That's a good job by Edison not to lose the man in the middle, number 16, and it'll be a third down and 20.
So if you are Old Bridge, are you going to take a shot or do you want to make room for the punter at this point?
I think you take that shot if you have it 10, 15 yards down the field. Hope your receiver can do the rest. There was an option for Nugent underneath as well.
And Nugent will fake it, get it out to Griffith on the sideline, and Griffith, he might have the first down. He does. Jaden Griffith, he has room all the way down the sideline. Does he have him? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Old Bridge. Are you kidding me? Jaden Griffith. I said, do you want to make room for the punter? No, I want a touchdown. Jaden Griffith, all the way down the sideline, puts Old Bridge up by 3, scores. Faked it out, rolled out, crossed the body, and Jaden Griffith, he said, I'm going.
Yep.
Wow.
And Griffith was the safety valve on that play, John. He was the guy just underneath, hanging out in case Nugent gets in trouble, in case he can't bounce it out to the outside. He's there just for that support underneath. And, we've seen the speed of Griffith last week. He turned a 40-yard play in the air, took it to the house, and there we go.
21-0. The Old Bridge Knights on a third down and forever find Jaden Griffith and get a touchdown all the way backed up in their own side of the field, in their own what would be red zone. And what a play. Jaden Griffith, back-to-back games with a touchdown of at least 70, 75 yards.
Yep, that was 81 yards.
2 80-yard touchdowns in back-to-back weeks.
Yep, last week's went for 83 officially, this one for 81, and you could see, relatively speaking, that's an easy pitch and catch down the field for Nugent. Throws that one maybe 10 yards in the air, and then it's just Griffith the rest of the way. And we've seen the guys who we interviewed during pregame make big plays here. Evans defensively, and now the young man, the senior, Jaden Griffith, making it a 3-score game.
So for Edison, they pinned Old Bridge back down on that way. You get them down to a 3rd down and forever, a 3rd down and 20, and you give up a big play touchdown. Now you're down 21-0. That is a heartbreaker for the Eagles, but they will take this kickoff, a pooch kick, out on the sideline. It goes out of bounds. That will be a flag, obviously.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing, John, is we see a lot of teams, they bend, they don't break. And, what we've seen, unfortunately, for Edison is that they've bent a little bit, or they've been rigid, really, and it's been that one big play that's really broken them. Otherwise, they've stood home, they've limited some things. Yeah, we've seen Dixon come out of the backfield, run off, the big touchdown, and, of course, an 18-yard play before. But you have a chance there, pinned back. You've done everything right to that point. And essentially, they still did the right thing. They kept Nugent in the pocket. The deep option wasn't there for Old Bridge. Instead, they dump it up. Their failure there is Ito to really soften up this defense. And now you look up at the scoreboard, you see 21-0 there. It does put a little bit of urgency on this offense to have a response here, and they cannot afford to go 3 and out for sure.
Absolutely not. You at least need to win the field position battle here on this drive. Ito will take the handoff, bounces between the tackles, gets pushed back towards the middle of the field. And a very small gain for Edison.
Yeah, so it looks like he progressed up a couple of yards. And, conversely, John, when you're playing with a 21-0 lead, at least defensively, you can take a little bit of, what's the
take
word
a bit of a play back a little bit.
Yeah. Or, maybe bring an extra rusher in to try to guard against the run. You could leave somebody exposed. You have that kind of buffer there. That security blanket, if you will, where you could take more and more chances is really what.
You can do either or. You can play back a little bit, just let them run the clock, or just be aggressive.
Good misdirection here.
Great misdirection. Gets it back to Garland, and he is just unable to be tackled. He steps out of bounds. We'll see if he got the first down. Clantoni.
He did.
Faked the handoff, just spun around, and Garland, Sean Garland, that is, makes a play. Running back and linebacker as well. Two-way players for Edison and both Old Bridge as well.
Yeah, so 2 things on that play, John. Just great misdirection. So obviously you got Old Bridge going one way, the play going the other, and then a great job by Garland here. Kind of a short stiff arm there. And you could just tell the size that he possesses. That's going to be problematic in the open field for anybody.
Noah Rios not afraid to take a truck. Yes, he got ran over, but he did slow down Garland quite a bit. Allowed his teammates to make that tackle. Handoff over. That ball, I think it might have been on the ground. Well, Kelly-Antoni thought it was on the ground, but that is a busted play and a loss of yards.
Yeah. I think Kelly-Antoni might have been kind of taken down by a defender coming in low. Dangerous play there, but a loss of 3 yards on the play, so now they have to crawl out of a little bit of a pit.
Usually when you see a quarterback fall down, you think, oh, man, the ball's out, out.
Right.
But he just might have fell down, tripped over his own feet somehow. But a tough situation here for the Eagles. 2nd down and 13. Trips right. Running back to his left, that's Ito. Clantoni takes the snap, faces pressure, goes through the right gap, tries to find some room. A flag is down. Small gain, but the flag is down on the play. We'll see what that call is.
Yeah, great job by Kelly-Antoni to step up in the pocket and find the right lane to go in. Now that is coming back, but Kelly-Antoni did get a nice 6-yard gain on that play, but it's going to put them in a hole here after the hold.
So what would have been a solid play, a solid run, gets all the way backed up now.
And we'll see just how far they back it up, because it looked like the hold came a little bit up the field, past the line of scrimmage, so we'll see exactly where it gets spotted. They're still walking it down.
Trying to see if this
might have been more than a hold.
Could have been. It could have been something of that nature.
Yes, first down markers at the 42-yard line. The ball's being spotted at the 15. So,
not a math major.
Math in your head, 27 yards.
27 yards down. So that's going to be a tough one to get through. It's 2nd down and 27 for Edison. This will be a direct snap. Just trying to pick up some sort of yardage. Braden Greer took that snap directly, just get an athlete, get him the ball.
Yeah, a decent gain of 8 yards on the play, but still brings up a 3rd and eternity here. And, that's tough for Edison, right? Because you had that great play, underneath or on the misdirection play to Garland. You get yourself a big 1st down, and then, boom, you get handed a loss on 1st down, penalty on 2nd, and before you know it, you're backed up with 5:50 to go in the 1st half, needing a big play here to sustain this drive.
So taking this, it's not Kilantoni. It looks like Christian Darbuzzi, who actually took the last play. We'll see if they're just trying to get some direct snaps or if Kilantoni's just off the field. Darbuz takes it, and he gets brought down. He tried to find some room on the running lanes, but was unable to really do much. And that'll do it for the drive for Edison. So a tough situation. A penalty, losses of yardage, and now Edison down 21-0 has to give it up.
Yeah, the pocket collapsing that time, of course, didn't help Darbuz. Not many options there, as we'll take a quick look at what he had to see in this pocket survey. It looked like he was looking towards the left side and then just had to step up, and a couple of slate gray jerseys to meet him. And go back to that play where Calantoni kind of went down. John, we thought maybe it was a fumble or he got taken down, and he's now off the field.
Nugent will let this bounce out onto the sideline to about the 36-yard line, but again, great point. We'll see if you saw him kind of hold his leg a little bit after that play.
Yeah, he just went down awkwardly on that play, and not a lot of impact on his leg, but definitely concerning. He is pretty, long in stature, and sometimes when you tumble awkwardly like that, it's an ankle or a knee problem. But we hope that he's okay. In any event, there was a change at quarterback for Essen, and for Old Bridge now an opportunity, John, to really grab this game by the horns if they haven't done it already. Up 21-0 with 4:34 to go. They have a chance. Pretty good starting field position, too, at their own 39.
They've got a great chance. Old Bridge, you go by 4 scores in the first half. That is tough to come back from. Calantoni does have his helmet off on the sideline. He's got an arm around him as well. So we'll see what that can mean, whether he will be back out there. And that ball goes over Nugent's head. He's got to get on it. Nugent takes it. He picks it up. He's going to run with it. Maybe trying to save something. He just throws it out of bounds towards the Edison sideline, and some collisions occur. But that was almost a dangerous play. Nugent able to recover.
Yeah, and that time, at least Nugent had the time to really get down on it, corral the ball first. That's job one. Job two is then to throw that ball away and not concede all that field position, as we'll get another chance to see it. And it's just simply a bad snap, John.
Just way over his head. What could have been a 2nd down a lot stays a 2nd down and 10. But Nugent, again, he's a guy that loves to make a play. Maybe thinks, I can maybe make a throw here, but at that point, you just got to throw the ball away. You're 20, 30 yards almost back behind the line of scrimmage.
And you're up by 21. So,
right.
You do the smart thing there, and I think that's exactly what he did.
4 minutes and 22 seconds here in this 21-0 game.
Movement again.
Offensive lineman moved. Nothing.
Oh, they get back, yeah.
Call. Looks like he will stay there, yep. Took 3 rushers on the line as well. So they will rush 3. And one of them gets there to Jeremiah Dixon and stuffs that run up on the play. Will be Jermaine Smallwood. Makes the tackle for Edison.
Yeah, and Smallwood that time said, you've done that one too many times. And we're going to put an end to that. And meeting Dixon, of course, in the backfield and through a block is able to make that nice tackle. So great job there by Edison. And now a big chance for them here, John. Down, final 4 minutes of the first half. If they could force a 3-and-out here, get the ball back, that is a good sign here for the Eagles. And for Old Bridge here, a big 3rd down.
And Old Bridge, who loves to run a bit of a hurry-up, they're just letting this clock move because you don't want to give Edison any time to break the shutout right now. Nugent takes a snap, looks around, faces pressure, escapes, and escapes again. Nugent makes a throw towards the sideline, and it's just going to bounce near the 50 towards his receivers. Dangerous play if it went a little bit higher. Edison defender was diving down to try to make an interception, but the Edison defense gets off the field.
Yeah, and again, that's all started by the good pressure, right? It forces Nugent to be uncomfortable there in the backfield. He has to roll out to his left, which is, the side that he really does want to roll out to if he does, but he short arms this a little bit, and he just doesn't get enough on it to reach the sticks, and that's because Edison is upon him right away. So 4th down, forced to punt, 3 and out for Old Bridge.
Anthony Colantoni still on the sideline with his helmet off. Christian Darboux in this conversation talking to him. Here's the punt by Nugent, and a great boot at that. Gets to about the 22.5. And that is where Edison will start a key drive down 21 in the second quarter with about 3:23 to go.
Yeah, almost a 40-yard punt with no return, so you'll take that any day of the week. They do continue to win the field position battle here, John. And now, if you're a fan of the Edison Eagles, a little bit of a layer of intrigue into this one, because now you have a new signal caller in there.
Anthony Colantoni looks like he's back on the field.
Okay. Yeah, didn't pick him up on the sideline coming in, so that's a good sign if you're an Edison Eagle fan.
Number 2, Colantoni. Not exactly sure what brought him off the field initially, but he is back on the field. Darboux was waiting. He had his helmet on the sideline, but Anthony Colantoni, also the shortstop on the baseball team, getting back out there on the field. Nugent, also a baseball player, multi-sport athlete. You see that a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of these kids are.
Ito's a wrestler. Sure, if you go up and down the roster, these guys play 2 sports. Colantoni faces some pressure. Has to roll that all the way to his right and just throws this one away and down the field.
His receiver got bumped in the back.
Right.
But no flag as the pass was well over the head of everyone, so it'll be 2nd down and 10. But, John, I go back to earlier in this quarter where Edison was really driving down the field. Their run game was looking really good. And then, if you remember, there was a 4th and 1, and then they got called for a pre-snap penalty, and that kind of has taken the game off the hinges for them a little bit. Otherwise, they had some really good momentum going for themselves.
They had a chance to make this a 14-7 game.
Yep.
With that. And if you convert that opportunity, this is a much different ball game than what we have right now. 2 in the backfield for Colantoni. This one goes to Ito. Ito looked outside, bounces it back inside. And a small gain for the Edison Eagles on that play.
Well, they get 4 yards, which allows them now to dip into the playbook a little bit and come up with something here on 3rd down and medium, about 6-7 yards, maybe a long 6, short 7. But this is a big play here for Edison. I know there's only 2:50 to go in the first half, and it's still plenty of time. They're going to have plenty of drives left in this game, but this is a big moment here in the game because you want to at least get a 1st down, keep your defense on the sideline for a little bit, and see if you can go back to really piecing together 1st downs.
Similar formation for Colantoni. Fakes the handoff, rolls out to his right, gets to the receiver. He'll get the 1st down and picks up some extra yardage as well. Great fake. And great way to find an open receiver down the sideline for the Edison Eagles. That one being Braden Greer.
Yeah, and because Colantoni has proven that he can run with the ball and he's still okay on that leg, it forces, you could see the Old Bridge defense stepping up there, allowing Greer to get out into the flat and make the play.
There's that shortstop play. Make a couple steps, deliver a strike.
Yep.
A lot of athletes like to do specializations now. I only play football. I only play baseball. But now you're seeing a lot of these guys making athletic plays as 2 sport athletes. As Ito, the wrestler, takes the handoff but cannot get anywhere on this play.
Yeah, and I wonder, again, if that was by design or not, but that was a weird handoff.
Right.
That time, almost a 360.
So 2nd down, about 10 if he did get back to the line of scrimmage. But it could have been a busted play, broken play for the offense. And when you're in panic mode, give the ball to Ito, never a bad idea.
Yeah, we're going to get a quick view of that, and we'll go back to live action in a second. But you can see just the unorthodox handoff there.
He might have been expecting him to be to his left.
Yeah, talk about a busted play. That was a busted screen attempt, and Colantoni just doing wise to spike that into the ground. We'll get you the full replay of that in just a moment.
We'll take a look at it. But for Edison, Back-to-back busted plays. When you're down 21-0 and you need a drive, it's tough to see if you're an Edison fan.
Yeah, this was the play that just happened that we got back too late. You can see the screen looking to develop underneath. It looked like the receiver or the blocker went down.
It's early in the season. Some of these guys may not have gone to all the practices, seen everything, have seen all the plays. So you'll see that happen early on in the season for some of these teams. Just going the wrong way.
3rd and 10 now.
3rd and 10. Galantoni rolls out to his right, and he's got it broken up. Great way to get up and just get a hand on it by Munby Francois.
Yeah, that was a nice play. Francois saw it all the way. It looked as if there was a white jersey alone for just a moment, but Francois scoped it out, did a nice job of reading it in the defensive backfield, and then stepping up and breaking that play up. Now we do have a penalty against Edison, but we'll take another look at this play here.
Penalties declined as well, but what a play to get up and just go get it. Had a receiver down the sideline. If he breaks on that ball a little late, a little early, that's a completion. That's a big first down. Great timing by Francois to go out and just get that ball.
So Nagy will come into punt again, and Nugent back standing at his own 30-yard line. If he has a chance to return this, Old Bridge will have an opportunity here to start with good field position with 90 seconds to go.
Just depends where the punt goes. Nugent looking to field, and Nugent will take it. He might have some space. He might have some room. Nugent cuts it back inside, spins off, and he does create that good field position out to about the 47-yard line for Old Bridge and the Knights.
Yeah, so by our count, they're not flashed up on the scoreboard, but we do have 2 timeouts left for Old Bridge. We believe that is correct. And they'll have the ball at their own 47-yard line. And the field goal is not off the table for Old Bridge. We saw Michael attempt a field goal of just under 30 yards last week. He did miss it short and right. But if Old Bridge can get the ball down, you would think around the 10, 15-yard line, that is what it would take to go for a field goal here. Of course, they would love to get another 6 on the board. 1:19 remaining in this first half.
So 2-minute drill with just over 1 minute left to go for Old Bridge. Nugent immediately looks to his left, gets that ball out to a receiver, breaks a tackle, and trying to just get this thing back to the line of scrimmage.
Oh, the ball came out late too, but it looked like they got right back on top of it.
Got right back on it, did Old Bridge. Amari Allsbrook took that quick route. This clock continues to run, now under a minute for the Knights as they try to get something offensively. Maybe look for Griffith here on another long play if he can get a breakout. But this clock continues to run. The minutes and seconds continue to tick. Only seconds now, 45 just about. This play will be snapped. Here's the snap. Dixon fighting for some extra yards. Gets a medium gain. And that might be a sign that Old Bridge is okay with what happened in the first half.
Yeah, either that or they'll maybe save one big play downfield just not to allow time left for Edison to do anything with. Now, we're at 22 seconds left and counting here in this half. Maybe time for one big play downfield and a stoppage of the clock.
Griffith lined up in the slot, so you may just want to get the ball to him. If I'm going to pick a guy to get the ball to, I'm picking Jaden Griffith.
Or they're just going to take it in the locker room here.
They
Remember,
won't.
This is 3rd down.
3rd down for Old Bridge. Nugent rolls out to his right. He's telling Griffith to get down the field, and he'll just throw it away.
It's
It might have been intercepted. It's intercepted, but it won't really matter. Tent blocking the view there.
There's a flag down 2, so we have to see, barring a defensive foul, this could be the half.
Depends on what happened.
Now, Edison is waving that it is against Old Bridge, in which case they'll likely decline this penalty, and we're going to head into the locker room.
Right, because if that was a penalty on Edison and maybe it's a pass interference, you could have get an untimed down.
Untimed down, and if it's pass interference, it's 15 yards down the field.
Exactly, but we'll see.
No, it looks like it is going to be the legal man downfield, and the penalty is declined, and that will be halftime.
That exactly will be halftime here at Lombardi Field. The Old Bridge Knights up 21-0. What a performance by the Knights. A huge touchdown by Olivencia to start things off, a 19-yard rushing touchdown by Jeremiah Dixon, and the play and the game was just broken wide open by Jaden Griffith with an 81-yard touchdown to make this thing 21-0.
Yeah, John, and we mentioned, like, who's going to take advantage of the other team's mistakes, and I think we saw that it was Old Bridge that really stepped up. Remember that big fumble on the punt return that resulted in Old Bridge getting the ball right back after a 3-and-out. They end up getting a big touchdown run from Dixon on that drive. And again, when Edison was driving, it looked like they had seized momentum of the game. They had a 4th down and very short, almost at the red zone of Old Bridge. They get a pre-snap penalty. It derails their drive, and they haven't really been the same ever since.
Getting a home loan shouldn't feel like an obstacle course. At CMG Home Loans, getting a loan is simple. Our loan officers are here for you every step of the way. With over 2,000 5-star reviews, when you're ready to buy or refi, we'll work together to find the loan you need for the home you love. CMG Home Loans. Simplified, trusted, committed.
At Bagel Boy Bagel Shop in Old Bridge, we're more than just bagels. Come visit us at 2329 County Road 516, where we bake our bagels and bread fresh daily, have the freshest fruit and veggie platters, and an assortment of sandwiches and plates that are sure to satisfy. Bagel Boy is a proud sponsor of all things Old Bridge. Go Knights and go to Bagel Boy. 2329 County Road 516 and at bagelboyonline.com.
Old Bridge students, take advantage of the Old Bridge special at Bagel Boy. 10% off all purchases with your valid student ID.
Since 2003, Elite Sports Physical Therapy of Morganville has developed customized care and physical therapy programs for thousands of athletes through evaluation and setting athletic goals. Whether a torn ACL, dislocated shoulder, or concussion is keeping you on the sidelines, our highly trained physical therapists can help you recover and return to the field or court in better shape than ever before. Come see what we are all about. Visit us at elitespt.com or call us today to book a consultation.
The Edison Eagles and the Old Bridge High School varsity football nights. It's 21-0. David Pizzuto with you here alongside John McCooch. And what we understand is that our internet stream might be a little choppy right now. That is because we lost our internet connection and we regained it, but we're going through a little bit of lag here as well, John. So right now it looks like the internet is okay, but we do want to let people at home know that we are operating off of our phone's hotspot Wi-Fi signal.
Okay.
And obviously with all of the internet traffic going on here at Old Bridge, with the many people in attendance, of course, clogging up some of the internet, obviously, that we're trying to use as well, that will happen from time to time. If the broadcast gets choppy, if we lose you for any degree of time, we will try to jump right back on the air. Unfortunately, our equipment and all the things that we have hooked up require a lot of bandwidth, and so that's why we're able to bring this to you. But absolutely, if we do get knocked off, we do want to let people know that we will be right back on the air. But right now, John, I'm not seeing the big red X on my screen, which means that we should be okay, and I'm hoping that we are. And of course, we can't even check our phones to check in with the chat and see if things are what's going on there, because we really are trying not to use any more internet than we have to so that we can bring this to you. But what we should tell people, John, is that as we work all the time on PDF Sports Network, if for some reason this broadcast is not viewable, then what we will do is we will put a clean copy of the game, the raw file from the game, on YouTube as well for people to enjoy. And that will happen, of course, once we get home and we're able to upload that. So that's our disclaimer when it comes to internet. We know people wanted to see a little bit of the halftime show as well, but unfortunately we do have some sponsors who fund our stream here, so we need to get, of course, their commercials in. With that ado, John, why don't you take over?
Most definitely. I mean, you know, This is live broadcasting. Things will happen. Streams cut out. Everything can happen. Literally everything can happen in sports broadcasting. So, yes, thank you for your patience. Thank you for tuning in the first place. And again, thank you for tuning into the PDF Sports Network. But there is a football game, obviously.
Yeah.
And for Old Bridge, they came out strong. Yes, they're up 21-0. They had a lot of great plays, but Edison, again, like we've said a bit, still in this game and still could have been much more in this game with some key plays.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, again, it goes back to a point I made before about, like, sometimes you can bend and not break. And I feel like for Edison is that they've been really stout, but they've also broken on a couple of plays. You know, the touchdowns, of course, went back, John, and I looked at the exact yardage. It was a 17-yard pass that got the scoring on the board. That was Nugent to Olivencia. And that's a play where Olivencia gets behind the defense, kind of inexplicably, no safety help. The corner loses his man, and Olivencia goes in for the 17-yard touchdown. Then a 19-yard touchdown run by Dixon. That was really his first, maybe his second positive rushing play of the half. Otherwise, Edison had done a really fine job of bottling him up. And then an 81-yard touchdown from Nugent to Griffith. That was really just 5 yards in the air, John, and Griffith did the rest because the failure of Edison's defense to really catch up to Griffith on a 3rd down and 20 out of the backfield. So some inexplicable mistakes have led to the scoring directly, and then offensively they have a 0 on the board in a half where they were able to run the ball, especially early in this game. They might have gotten away from it a little bit, but it was mistakes, penalties, the fumble on the punt return. Those are all things that were debilitating, and ultimately it's the reason why it's 21-0.
Exactly, but let's talk about Old Bridge for a bit, right? Yep. We talk a lot about how Edison stole the game, but Old Bridge, for them,
yes,
to lose a game the way, in the fashion that they did, in a heartbreaker, they almost came back. They had a chance to get a 2-point conversion, a tie it sent it to overtime, just short. For them to come out and be as dominant as they have been on both sides of the ball, in special teams, everything, they forced a kickoff fumble, to do everything that they've done so far, to have the game that they've had so far. What an impressive performance by Old Bridge today to just rebound.
Yeah.
You're down 0-1 to start the year, and you come out and play like this. Still another half to go, and you got a whole other half of football to play. It's not over, but you're really close, and you're a few key plays away from being 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we said it during pregame, John, too. You brought it up about how do you rebound from a tough loss like that. And we said, there's no way this team is going to come in with slumped shoulders because they played really well, especially in the second half of their game against Woodbridge. They scored 34 points in the game, 27 of those points in the second half. They were coming in with a head of steam already. And even Jaden Griffiths told us, one of the touchdown scorers during pregame said, look, that second half really rejuvenated our team, really got us thinking we want to score 35 in this one. And a team that's feeling down doesn't have that mindset. They took a lot of positives away from that second half against Woodbridge, and they brought it. You could tell they brought it into this first half here. They had a definite game plan of what they wanted to do, and they got a big turnover. They've stayed away from the penalties for the most part, John. They had 11 last week. They had about 3 or 4 in this first half, so they've done a better job. They've played a cleaner game, and listen, as a result, they are well on their way right now. They have to play a good, fundamental half of football, and they're going to be 1-1 at the end of today.
Absolutely. We'll step aside for just a few more moments. Players are coming back onto the field for Old Bridge, waiting on Edison. The Edison Eagle mascot is out as well. These teams are almost ready to get back at it, but we will step aside again for just another few moments. The second half about to be underway here on the PDF Sports Network.
Getting a home loan shouldn't feel like an obstacle course. At CMG Home Loans, getting a loan is simple. Our loan officers are here for you every step of the way. With over 2,000 5-star reviews, when you're ready to buy or refi, we'll work together to find the loan you need for the home you love. CMG Home Loans. Simplified, trusted, committed.
Since 2003, Elite Sports Physical Therapy of Morganville has developed customized care and physical therapy programs for thousands of athletes through evaluation and setting athletic goals. Whether a torn ACL, dislocated shoulder, or concussion is keeping you on the sidelines, Our highly trained physical therapists can help you recover and return to the field or court in better shape than ever before. Come see what we are all about. Visit us at elitespt.com or call us today to book a consultation.
When it comes to buying and selling a home, do it with Peter Hunt's home team, powered by Century 21. For years, Peter has dedicated his life to the real estate industry, offering help and care to all of his clients. With experience and proven results, Peter is an award-winning realtor and the top producer for Century 21 Action Plus. A resident of Old Bridge, put Peter to work at selling your home or finding the home of your dreams. Call 1-800-299-2129 or reach Peter directly at 9086-014-934.
At Bagel Boy Bagel Shop in Old Bridge, we're more than just bagels. Come visit us at 2329 County Road 516, where we bake our bagels and bread fresh daily, have the freshest fruit and veggie platters, and an assortment of sandwiches and plates that are sure to satisfy. Bagel Boy is a proud sponsor of all things Old Bridge. Go Knights and go to Bagel Boy. 2329 County Road 516 and at bagelboyonline.com.
Old Bridge students, take advantage of the Old Bridge special at Bagel Boy. 10% off all purchases with your valid student ID.
Old Bridge Knights football here on the PDF Sports Network. I'm John McCuster, and alongside David Pizzuto, the Old Bridge Knights lead 21-0 heading into the second half. The Edison Eagles will receive the kickoff to start the second half, and if you remember from the first drive of the game, Old Bridge took it. They drove down the field. They got a touchdown. Edison has an opportunity to get it the second half. Do the same thing that Old Bridge did to them in the first half. That's how you got to start things off.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, if you're the coaching staff of Edison, you say to yourself, look, we need to start the second half positively. You can't start any more positive than this. You're getting the ball first, and so you use this first kickoff here as a way to get yourself started here in the second half.
The final two quarters here in this Saturday matchup, in this Saturday afternoon. A bit of a pooch kick again. This one being taken back by the Eagles. He's got room out to the outside, trying to be chased by defenders, and he is chased down. But he does pick up some decent yardage for the Edison Eagles, did Lanier Whetstone.
Yeah, Whetstone, nice job going from left to right, and good job by Old Bridge as well to kind of keep him contained there, wait for the cavalry to come in. But all things considered, you start this drive here at the 32-yard line. You can't ask for anything better than that here to start off quarter number 3.
Just to talk about Coach Matt Donahue, originally the team's defensive coordinator and the baseball coach for this team. And then, obviously, Anthony Lanzafama unexpectedly stepped down as the head coach of the football team. He's got this defense in a shutout right now, but he took the job. He said, you know what, the job's open. I was never expecting to take the job, was Coach Donahue. Takes the job. He's got his team up 21-0 against Edison. But really great story from Coach Donahue and how he got the job in the first place. And there's a handoff, and this one is screened out, but just goes over the outstretched arm of Braden Greer for the Edison Eagles.
Yeah, and, you know, I had a chance to speak with Coach Donahue during preseason, about maybe 4 or 5 weeks before the season started, and I asked him, how's the team look, Coach? And he said, look, we were really young last year. We're still pretty young, you know, and we're building. You know, he likes the talent level on the team. He likes the way things are coming together. And, you know, he said it 2 weeks in a row during pregame as well, John. It's a process. You know, you want to see your team get better and better every week, and they certainly got better over the course of the 48 minutes last week. Let's see what happens here, half number 2.
They've got to finish. There's that misdirection again. And this is just bottled up. The tackle on Ito. And nothing will be gained out of this one. Third down coming up for Edison.
And I'm almost willing to bet that's just not the way the play is supposed to be run. I mean,
said that a few times today.
Yeah, it's just an unorthodox way to hand the football off here. We're going to get another chance to see it. Just expecting him to the right and went to the left instead, or vice versa. Yeah, there it is. Just
that's an offhand handoff. That you don't
Ito
usually
just
see that.
went to the left, and Calatoni thought he was going to the right. So it's like 3rd and 14 coming up.
A long play, not how you want to start off the second half if you're a team down as much as Edison is right now, 21-0. About 10:53 left on the clock in this third quarter. Still plenty of game left to go. Calatoni takes a snap. He is just pressured and brought down. Sacked on the play. Great way for Old Bridge to get down on it. Justin Valinati looked like he got in there on that play for the Knights.
Yeah, Valinati was all over the field last week. I think he had something like 11 tackles last week. And, you know, it's just they're in the backfield before anything else can happen. And on 4th and a mile, no choice here but to punt it away.
You were correct, 11 total tackles for Valinati. Wasn't able to get a sack in that game, but there looks like he might have got in there on that play as well.
Yeah, he'll get half at least on that play.
Could have been Zamir Evans as well in there on that. As here's the punt, and this one is just sky high a little bit too much and bounces the wrong way, and oh my goodness. This one is going to get Old Bridge in prime field, but that's effectively a turnover.
Yeah, that's a 6-yard net punt, and, you know, it just went sky high and got caught up in the wind there, had no chance. And how about this for a start? Go back to that sack on 3rd down. Slow down just a bit so we could see the pressure coming in on Calatoni. And, yeah, you could see there's 4 people in the background, and in the backfield, I should say. Kavas was there. Valinati was there. So just a great complete play there. And now, John, Old Bridge, 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line of Edison. And, you know, now the decision to get the ball first and receive in the first half, it just looks brilliant at this point, having seen it unfold now in both halves.
Trusting your offense for Coach Donahue. Again, back at that last play we just saw, they disguised that blitz from Valinati so well. You didn't see him coming until the last possible moment. He will at least get half a sack, but trips out to the right for Nugent. We haven't seen as much of the keepers like we have in the first part of the first quarter. There's that keeper, and he gets stuffed, but runs over a defender trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. Might have saved about a yard or two there on the loss. Brody Nugent just ran him over, but that will be a loss of about 1.
Yeah, and everybody gasped, at least up here, when he took that first shot. And, you know, you don't want your quarterback getting hit like a rag doll right there in the backfield. But right on cue, John, you said it. We haven't seen much of the keeper. They go right back to it. First play of the second half, and that time Edison blowing it up in the backfield.
Again, great field position, 2nd down and about 11. Nugent.
Empty backfield again, John, and we saw this on Old Bridge's first drive of the game.
They just ran that rock with Nugent, but he'll take a high snap, looking for a receiver, has to roll out to his left. He's got green grass in front of him. He makes a throw, and just over his receiver. Wow, Amari Allsbrook was ready for it, but he had green grass in front of him.
Yes.
I think he may have should have taken that. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah, and again, I think Nugent had the option there and saw the breaking wide receiver, and he just threw it. It was just too strong of a throw, John. It got the high snap there, the jailbreak coming in, a little bit of over pursuit, and then the throw on a line.
If you've got a touchdown that you think is an easy throw to make, I mean, we've seen Nugent make throws that you don't see very often today, especially that first throw to Olivencia for the touchdown going across his body. But sometimes you got to just tuck the ball and go. especially if you're a guy like Brody Nugent who has just tons of speed. He could have got a touchdown himself if he gets a good break. But third down coming up for Old Bridge. And a whistle blown. Looks like a timeout.
Timeout called by Old Bridge.
Old Bridge has to take a timeout. We haven't seen the kicking situation for Old Bridge just yet too much, but they do. They kicked the ball a few times against Woodbridge.
Yeah, Michael was perfect on extra points. He missed a 27-yard field goal, but you kind of get the sense that he has the leg. From here, it just looks like it'd be too far to take. It'd be about a 43-yard field goal if they didn't pick up any yards here. But I'm sure that's also being discussed here, is how many yards do we need here to get Michael into position?
What's your range? I don't see him warming up on the sideline.
Yeah.
So that could be a deciding factor that they may just – I mean, if you're Old Bridge, you get a few yards, you get 5 or 6, you may just go for it.
Yeah.
At this point of the game, you're up by 21. You can take risks. We talked about how being up by that much in this kind of game, you can take more risks defensively. Yeah. Now, offensively, you may be able to take those risks, but you've got to pick up some yards here first before you can have that conversation.
Yeah, 1,000%, John. I think this is 4-down territory for sure, unless, of course, you're planning on kicking the field goal, which right now – body language tells me no as far as what's happening on the sideline.
Must be able to tell by the play call. If they go for some short yardage, then they may be looking to set up a 4th down and medium. This snap goes high. Nugent's able to catch it, and he's taking off. He's going down on the left side of the field, runs over a defender. He may have the first down. He does.
If he doesn't, it'll be really close, but I think they're going to move the sticks here, John. And, wow, what an effort by Nugent. And officially, it is a little bit short.
Just short. Wow. Looked like he might have. I thought he had it. But Nugent's just going to line up. Do we have the tush push on our hands? No, he's just going to keep it outside. He may have it. Does he have it on that
opposite side? Looks like he's got it. Now they're moving up just a little bit.
Depends where the football is going to be snapped. Nugent thinks he has it. And he's heading back towards the sideline.
Measurement here, John.
Well, we have to bring out the sticks. Well, didn't see that last game.
I think they're debating it, and haven't seen a signal either way for a 1st down. And
get the index card. Nugent went with a under center keeper. I thought he was just going to just stuff it right up the middle, but he took it, tried to maybe bounce it a bit in the gap, but could not get a ton of room.
Now I want to go back to that.
Sticks are coming out.
I want to go back to that 3rd down, John, and to see the rollout and where Nugent was able to get this down to.
Because I thought this was a 1st down initially. He may just be a bit short.
And I just paused it right there. And
he's short.
And he's short again.
Edison gets the stop on 4th down. The chain gang has to come out. And the Edison Eagles, that could be a huge momentum booster. But they will get the ball back just about where they started initially in the second half. So past few minutes have been a wash with about 8:29 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, that's a great play, though, for Edison. You know, I mean, that's something that they needed, and it was nice to see them make that stop. And on a 4th down and maybe a couple of feet, getting that stop, that's a huge, huge play. And hopefully it sparks their offense here. At least that's what their defense is hoping.
Great efforts by Brody Nugent, but not enough to pick up the 1st down on 3rd down and 4th down. Calantoni hands it off to Ito. Ito is going to have to bounce this a bit, but he will get a bit of a gain for the Edison Eagles on 1st down. That'll bring up 2nd.
Yeah, but this is what I think that they need to do, John. I think you need to get back to running the football, just right up the middle, 4 and 5 yards at a time. Obviously, you want to, stay away from the big debilitating penalty or the tackle for a loss, a sack, obviously. Those things have proven to derail drives. They've been the kiss of death a little bit for Edison in this game. But so long as they're moving forward and using the run game, they are capable of moving the sticks pretty effectively.
Just depends on how much work can Ito handle in this game, especially you need to give him the rock 3 times on these drives sometimes. Calantoni escapes. He may have a man. Garland picks up the 1st down and a bunch. And a great play for Edison to get this offense rolling.
Yeah, just a nice job by Calantoni to visually see what he has going downfield while running the ball as well at the same time. So just a nice job by him, as we'll see another look at it on the replay here. But stepping up and doing two things at once, and surveying, and Garland's there, has a big target down the field and able to convert the first down.
Garland's a power back that's played in a couple tight end positions, lining up in fullback positions. He's able to move around, but he's just such a big body. This one's Ito on the play. This run is just stuffed on the first down carry. Ito unable to get anywhere on the play.
Yep, and that's right down at the line of scrimmage, so no gain. And that time, again, Ito looking to get over top of the tackle there and round the corner on the left side, and the Knights saying no to that and bottling him up and keeping him at the line of scrimmage. Now, if he does get around that corner, we saw earlier in the game, he does pick up a head of steam. That's trouble, but good job that time by the Knights to keep contained.
Galantoni takes a snap, another misdirection attempt. Ito getting some running room, and that'll be a decent gain. Couple yards short of the first down. That'll bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, I think it's going to be about a yard short here. And again, that was almost the exact same play, a little bit of a wider angle for Ito. And he's able to turn it around the tackle. And again, once he gets those shoulders square on that second level, he is really, really tough to bring down. And Edison needs some more of that, and they found it here running on the left side.
And they will need to run. They really wear down this Old Bridge defense if they can with these handoffs. If you get a long drive and wear down this defensive unit, great things can happen. Garland will take this one right up the middle, and that'll pick up the first down for the Edison Eagles. So now the run game's starting to work. Now, they're only at midfield, though. They have to get down the rest of the field, but a great sign of momentum for this Edison offense.
Yep. But if you're Edison, I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, it's the bottom line is this is their game. This is their brand of football, just to line it up and overpower the defense. It worked against East Brunswick last week, and so far so good.
And now Ito has a ton of room again. The first down carry leads to another first down, and they will keep these chains moving offensively. And Edison, signs of life on the brink. But the Eagles, they keep flying.
Yep, and you see how they come out there, very heavy backfield, lead blocker with a nice block there at the line of scrimmage, and took out Jaden Endaz on the play, and good positive gain.
First down. There's the handoff to Ito, and Ito, they have been breaking through this defensive, getting to the second level. Ito will pick up about 5 for this offense.
And Valinati on the stop again, but again, able to get past that initial line of scrimmage. And even though this is eating up the clock, there's still plenty of time here. 4:40 to go in the third quarter. But it's been effective here. It's not the sexiest brand of football, John, but they'll take it here. Gone down almost 60 yards.
Ito, another carry for this Edison offense, and gets it down for a decent gain as well. Again, Ito, Nike Ito that is, getting a ton of work on this drive for Edison. They're just sticking to their brand.
Yeah, it looks like 3rd and less than a yard here. And this is about that area of the field that they were earlier, where they got a 4th and 1, and then they kind of got the pre-snap penalty, and the drive got derailed from there. But they've been in this close before. Can they cap a drive?
Loaded backfield again. Ito takes the handoff, pushes through his line. He'll have the first down, it looks like, for Edison. And the Eagles appear to keep this drive moving.
Yep. Now, official whistle, I think, because of an injury or to reset the sticks here. But, yeah, I think we're at that point now where if you're head coach Donahue on the other side here with Old Bridge, is that you have a problem to solve here.
A little bit.
Edison attacking you right up front here. Edison going with a fullback in the backfield now, kind of a lead blocking situation, and they are getting real estate. And their running backs are getting past the line of scrimmage with their shoulders square with daylight in front of them. Dangerous.
Coach Donahue is a defensive coach. Another misdirection play. It's been working a little bit, but he just has to throw this one away. Did Galantoni. Edison Looks like an assistant coach on the sideline made a nice catch.
And again, that's a situation, John, where, if that play works and they're able to get out in the flat and get 7-8 yards, it looks like a great play call. But when you're moving the ball via the run game the way they have and you don't, convert on a play like that, this could be dangerous now, because now you're 2nd and 10. And unless you get, 5-6 yards here, you're putting yourself in a really bad position in a really bad area of the field as well.
Yeah, we say it's 4-down territory, but that doesn't mean you want to use that 4th down. Another one of those misdirections, like you said, and now that one's stuffed, maybe a yard. And a 3rd down and long for Edison, a team that's had success running the football, now will be forced to pass most likely.
Yeah, and that's something that, win or lose in this game, Edison's going to have to go and watch the film and say, where's the confusion there? Is that on Calantoni? Is that on Ito? Because someone isn't running the right way on those. And it looks like they're having a discussion now in the backfield where Ito is coming down to the right side, and it's going to lead to a timeout for Edison.
Timeout, Edison. And when you're down in the 4th quarter looking to make a comeback, those timeouts can be precious.
Yep.
So for Coach Lasko, this film session on those handoffs, though, like you mentioned, I think that's going to be a very fun film session for those guys.
Yeah.
When they go over.
And, you mentioned it, too, where now we're getting to the very late stages of the 3rd quarter, John. So now if you're Old Bridge, if you could stop them, that was perfect, right? You just let them take 5 or 6 minutes off the clock, and they came away with nothing. And for Edison, exactly, if you come out of here with nothing, you just wasted 6 or 7 minutes running down the field, and to come out of it with nothing, that's a demoralizer. That's having to go back into your huddle or on your sidelines. Your shoulders start to slump, hands go on the hips, and there's a lot of tough feelings the other way. So this is a major, major moment in the game, and Coach Vasco knows it.
You can always bend, but don't break if you're Old Bridge. Really, this is a perfect way, even if they only get held to a field goal, but I doubt you take a field goal at this point. If it takes you 5 or 6 minutes to drive down the field, if you're Edison, you almost need to be perfect at this stage of the game because, well, time is a factor.
Yeah.
With about 2:36, 2:38 left to go on this clock. Edison down 21-0 here in Old Bridge in this road matchup, looking to break the shutout for the first time this game. They shut out East Brunswick last week. Now they are on the brink of being shut out themselves, are the Edison Eagles. But Old Bridge have 5 guys on the line here. They want to stuff this run, but Ito is able to at least get something.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
Yeah, he got looks like 2 yards, and it looks like it's going to be a 4th and 6 on this play, a long 6 at that. But I don't hate that play, John. I really don't, because what it does is it gives you a little bit more options, and you go back to what worked before, and you never know, Ito, if he gets past that, is able to get outside. But it's like more closer to a 4th and 7 here on this play, and a monster one here.
Could be the game, effectively. Late in the 3rd quarter, Old Bridge could get this stop on 4th down. High snap. Calantoni has to step up. He has to roll out to his right. He had green grass in front of him. Throw to the end zone. Touchdown, Edison! The Eagles looking to soar back. They score for the first time in this game on a Calantoni rollout to the right, touchdown.
Well, I think Calantoni had the first down either way. If he would have tucked it down and ran for that, he would have had an easy first down, but give credit to him. He saw a opportunity there, and I think that was Roma with the catch.
Believe
was it
so.
not?
Sure, we'll take another look at it at some point.
Yeah, we will. And saw him open in the end zone, said, instead of getting the first down, I'll take all 6.
Won't complain about that at all. Did look like number 88, Robert Roma, on the touchdown.
Yeah, look at all the green in front of Calantoni here. He would have had that first down easy, but, yep, great spot, great look, and Robert Roma gets Edison on the board.
They will not be shut out in this game. Maybe they are a second-half team.
The extra point was no good, so that's a big one.
It's a tough miss. You will need a 2-point conversion then if you will try to come back in this game. That's a tough miss for the Eagles. But 21-6 is your score. Edison gets a crucial touchdown. About 1:49 left on the 3rd quarter clock. So we have a game.
Yes, we
here
do.
Here in Old Bridge, New Jersey.
We brought you back a little late on that extra point, but we'll show it to you here. Looks like it went wide left.
Snap was bobbled a bit.
Yep, Cameron Lucarelli coming up short on that one. So the score remained 21-6, and should mention there is 1:45 remaining in this third quarter. So, you know, it's not late enough. It's not comfortable enough yet for Old Bridge to think that they still have this one in the bag. And, you know, if this one gets to be a one-score game, John, now you have to go back and lament that fourth down deep inside Edison territory that you weren't able to convert, maybe the spot on that play. And, you know, we mentioned at halftime, too, which team is going to step up and take advantage of the other team's mistakes? Well, Old Bridge gets gifted a possession at the Edison 25. They're unable to score or pick up a first down, and Edison makes them pay.
If you're Edison, this defense has been rested, and they need a stop. You need a quick 3-and-out pooch kick. Wait for the fair catch. He waved.
Yep.
And they will blow that whistle. He did run after he fair caught it, which is interesting. Could be a flag, but no flags, no laundry on the field.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lazy fair catch signal.
A little bit.
And the whistle didn't blow right away, but Thomas Kassoff was the one who elected to fair catch that, which I think is a wise decision as well. Avoid the hit, live another day, and get your offense back onto the field.
And again, when you see Edison, the reason they're down 21-6, again, a key kickoff fumble.
Right.
You do not want to put yourself in that same position, allow Edison to get a bit of revenge for that.
Now, the only negative about that, obviously, if you're Edison, is that you put Old Bridge in really good starting field position here at the 36. You think maybe you'd like to kick that one deep and pin them back a little bit more, but see if that ends up being a factor or not. If you're Edison, though, you walk in with a little bit of swagger. Nice big stop on the first offensive series for Old Bridge. Let's see what they can do here defensively, and Old Bridge looking for their first second-half points of the game.
The stout defense from Edison, they just shut out East Brunswick. Giving up some points here in this game, but they are keeping their team in it here in the second half. Nugent takes a snap. This will be another keeper for Nugent. Nugent had some room, but he is stuffed.
And the ball.
First down, the ball came out. The ball came out. Is this live?
There's no whistle.
No whistle. This might be live. This could be a touchdown.
Unless it was down, and now we have the officials right over the 35-yard line.
I didn't hear a whistle.
I didn't hear one either.
Edison thinks it's a touchdown. Old Bridge think they have the ball.
Now, granted, we have our headsets on and our ears are, we can't pick up everything on the public address, and we're going to look at that play from top to bottom.
Right, so we have to find out if it's a fumble in the first place.
Let's see if we can track it. This is the entirety of the play.
So there's the snap. Another quarterback keeper, and you can't. There's so many bodies that. Oh, this looked like it got ripped out. That should be a touchdown, I think. No, that just got ripped right out.
Wow. Well,
but it's Old Bridge football.
So
unless if that was a different body I'm looking at, it looked like that ball might have just got ripped out. I'm sure Edison might watch the stream back and think the same way. But Nugent will take a high snap. He'll take it himself. He's stuffed again. Can't get much on that play. I don't know if we can go back again.
I think we are. Let me just update this. And
Nugent comes up. Oh, Nugent comes up with a bit of a limp.
That's not good.
But he's going to the side. He waved it off, said, I'm fine, but we'll see if he maybe got tangled up there.
Well, going to go back and slow it down just a little bit. We'll see if we have enough time to track it, slow down. 16 has it. It looks like it was stripped right there.
He's got it.
Yeah, he's got it. Now he's down with it.
That should have been a touchdown.
Yeah, that was Anthony Sarney who came down with it, but not to pass. And it did look like he ripped that out while
Nugent was
still
ground.
Going. Yeah, unless they ruled forward progress was done at that point.
But he was still moving.
3rd and 9 here, though.
Will the ball lie? Nugent steps up in the pocket, makes a throw. He's got a wide open receiver down the sideline. Can he catch him? Makes a juke. He's still going. Touchdown, Old Bridge. Aiden Rios in the end zone with a touchdown.
Well, how do you respond from a couple of tough plays where your quarterback got sandwiched in the backfield, came up limping a little bit, how about Nugent? I think on a very play similar to Edison's touchdown, they probably could have had the first down running the ball on that one, but how can you deny the pass when a player is that wide open? Let's check it out. There's the throw down the field.
I thought he was going to get caught here. Yeah. Boom, get off me. Aiden Rios, the quarterback and defensive back, finds his way on offense and makes a huge play. And he falls down on the bump. Can't handle the bump. Extra point coming up for Old Bridge. 27-6 it is now. Edison missed their last extra point. And now the Knights can make it a 28-6 game. And they do. The Old Bridge Knights respond on another long touchdown against this Edison defense, and the Eagles may have just been hit with the dagger.
Yep, and we're going to see it one more time, John. Unfortunately, I couldn't go back too much, but there was a ton of room for Nugent to run that, and instead just sitting wide open was Rios. I believe that might be his first catch of the season, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't have one last week, if I'm not mistaken. And
might be his first offensive snap of the season.
Look at the great stiff arm there. Let's not discount that play.
Not at all.
And just a great job all around. And you answer the touchdown against you with a touchdown and an extra point as a response. So you're a +1 in that category. And in this quarter, which we should mention, John, only 2.9 seconds to go. So after this kickoff, we're looking at one quarter.
Unless we get a fair catch from Edison.
Yes.
But 2.9 seconds. Kickoff is underway. And this one will be returned. Can they get good field position on this play? Just goes right up through the gap. That will expire the third quarter of play. Naikirito takes a kickoff himself. But Old Bridge gets a huge touchdown at the end of the third quarter to go up 28-6 over the Edison Eagles. And wow, what a turn of events. Edison was climbing back, and they give up a huge play. Old Bridge up 28-6. We'll step aside for just a few moments. The fourth quarter coming up here on the PDF Sports Network.
At Bagel Boy Bagel Shop in Old Bridge, we're more than just bagels. Come visit us at 2329 County Road 516, where we bake our bagels and bread fresh daily, have the freshest fruit and veggie platters, and an assortment of sandwiches and plates that are sure to satisfy. Bagel Boy is a proud sponsor of all things Old Bridge. Go Knights and go to Bagel Boy. 2329 County Road 516 and at bagelboyonline.com.
Old Bridge students, take advantage of the Old Bridge special at Bagel Boy. 10% off all purchases with your valid student ID.
Hello and welcome back to Old Bridge Football here on the PDF Sports Network. I'm John McCooch, joined alongside David Pizzuto, and we were talking about this before, what we think, I mean, we're not officials, I don't wear the stripes, but we think it may have been a missed fumble call that was returned for a touchdown. Edison could be down only 21-13. Old Bridge comes back, as here's the snap on this play. Ito will bump this out outside. He gets some room, and he's got a hole. Naikirito picks up the first down and some extra change with it. And what a start for Edison, but what could have been a touchdown defensively for Edison now led to a 28-13 game. And we're going to take a look at that as well.
Here's the play you're talking about. This was the play before the touchdown, or two plays before the touchdown, and it looked like the rip right there. Sarno comes down with it. He was standing up when he grabbed the ball. He was still standing up and running, and the only response that we have for it, John, is that forward progress was stopped. That would make the most sense for us. But either way, Edison now on the plus side of the 50.
So Edison down 28-6. Galantoni takes it, finds his big man just shy of the first down here on first down. He may be a yard or two short of the first down. But Edison coming out with some strong offense to start this fourth quarter.
Yeah, 100%. And again, John, all of this started, the positivity on offense started by running the football. And they did that in the mid stages of the third quarter. They went back to basics. They almost got held up. It was a pass that got them on the board, and they continue with that passing game here. Let's see if they go back to the run game.
It worked in the red zone for the touchdown, and now the handoff to Ito. Ito's got to find some room. He has the first down, and the Edison Eagles moving quickly on offense. They don't have a ton of time here in this game, down by 3 scores, and they need a 2-point conversion as well at some point if they do go on this comeback. Just over 11 minutes remaining on the clock as the clock continues to run. Roma caught the touchdown for Edison before, but these Eagles, they've got to move now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Now they have 2 opponents, right? They have the scoreboard, they have the time against them as well, and they need to score 3 times in under 11 minutes, and certainly doable, that's for sure. Edison came from behind 15 to score twice in the final 6 minutes of their game last week.
We'll see another opponent themselves. They have to stick with what's working that almost hurt them on the last drive. Fakes the handoff, then the reverse. He's got some room, and that will be a first down. Dedrick Harvey takes a sweep and picks up a first down for Edison. They are bringing out everything in the playbook now because they need a touchdown.
Yeah, and, misdirection has been something that has worked pretty well for Edison in this game as well, as we have an official timeout on the field. But you could see the hard work by Harvey will move the sticks again. And that's another thing that's favorable, of course, to Edison is that with every first down, clock automatically stops to reset the ball. And we do have an injury on the play, so either way, time is out with 10:35 to go. But good job by Edison, John, to really get down the field pretty quickly here.
They've needed exactly that. Got some decent field position, some big runs by Ito, and they've created some good plays, a big pass as well to Darren Tirado. Just great work by this Edison offense, but you got to punch it in.
Yeah.
So we will see, again, injury on the field. Hopefully he's all right. Appears to be Harvey as a number 1.
Yeah, and he was, of course, the ball carrier on that last catch and run, or I should say on the reverse.
He'll get up off his own power. He'll head his way to the sideline. And if you're Edison, he's a big playmaker for you. You hope he can maybe come back in this game at some point. But good to see him get up and get himself on the sideline as well. But the Edison offense, they will come back out onto the field. Old Bridge kind of a bend but don't break situation. You can be a bit aggressive as well if you want. You've got 1 high safety. It's like 5 players on the line of scrimmage defensively for Old Bridge, trying to create some pressure. He'll turn around, and another big first down by number 85, Darren Tirado, the junior here for Edison, and now they are creeping into the red zone for the Eagles.
Yeah, it was a great timing pattern. That ball was released before Tirado got out of his break, and it was a nice hook up there. Cal and Tony, you could see top of your screen the pass developing, and that ball right on him.
Beautiful timing. He didn't even turn his head. Good late hands as well. And they'll load up the backfield again for Edison. Run play to Ito. Ito's got room, looking to push. And he will get down close to about the 5-yard line of Edison. They can still pick up the first down, it looks like, as well. So they'll have some extra downs to play with if they can get it here on second down on a couple. Antoni, another loaded backfield. And he'll make another handoff. Ito looking for the end zone. He's going to be very close. He'll get the first down, it looks like, and he'll be a yard or 2 short of a touchdown.
Yep, and because, of course, the first down is picked up, the clock will stop with 9:45 to go. So still plenty of time here in this one. And Edison now with 4 downs to get 2 yards. You like those odds.
Especially with the size of this backfield, even with Cal Antoni, a bigger quarterback as well. And they are going to all line up together and just do the old tush push. Can they get in the end zone waiting for a signal?
It's a rugby scrum. Looks like they're short. And we have a flag down here on the near side. A couple of players engaged.
And Old Bridge Knight looked very confused at the official. So it may be on Old Bridge. But we will see. exactly what that was. A flag on, if it's on Edison's side, it could be massive to back them up on this opportunity.
Yeah,
ball still spotted at the end zone, though.
Why don't you take the look at the extreme right of your screen here. And this is where the flag came in, right there. There's the flag, but it looks like pointed in the direction of Old Bridge. So they're going to do it half the distance, John. First down.
There may have been some jawing on that play. Like Francois could have been on him.
4 downs to get a half a yard. Well, actually 3 downs. They have marked it second.
Handoff to Ito, and he barrels his way forward in the end zone for a touchdown. Edison back on the board, and the Eagles have new life.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's an impressive drive for the Eagles. I understand it's the fourth quarter, but they got that ball with basically to start the quarter, right? It was after the kickoff that they reset, and that drive only takes 2 minutes and 58 seconds off the clock. So they did what they had to do. It was a nice mix of run and pass, and as a result, they are once again 2 possessions down. They'll need the full breadth of 2 touchdowns unless, of course, this is made.
Extra point was missed last time out. We'll see if the Eagles can convert on this attempt. Another bobbled snap. And this kick is good, though. So the Eagles down 13-28 here in Old Bridge against the Knights. They will have to kick this thing back to the Knights.
Yeah, and again, if you're Old Bridge, you can't be comfortable here with this score the way it is, 28-13. Obviously, you're still in the captain's seat, you're still in the pilot's chair. You're up by 2 scores with 9 minutes to go, but they need a response here, and they got one the last drive. Looked like Edison had seized control, had gotten full momentum, and then, boom, the 68-yard touchdown pass. Nugent's 3rd touchdown pass of the game, hooked up with Rios for the first time this season. They were able to get that response. Now, can they do it again? And that's going to be the key here on this drive.
We'll go down as 9:02 left on the clock here in this 28-13 game. Old Bridge will receive the kickoff. It's like Griffith back there, as well as Xavier Diaz. But, Dave, if you're Edison, I mean, you need to get this. You're probably going to kick the ball, try to get it pretty far, at least a touchback. And you need to get a 3-and-out at this point in the game with 9 minutes. Old Bridge can run the clock if you keep churning out first downs.
Well, even the last score that they gave up, John, it just plays directly into what we've been saying all game, is that they've been stout, and then the one play has just really hurt them. And even on that last defensive drive, you know, they had Old Bridge dead to rights, you know, couldn't gain a yard, and then boom, Old Bridge made him pay.
Thought he waved on that kickoff, and he will be called for a fair catch. He stuck the hand up. If you stick the hand up, it's a fair catch, and the flag is out as well.
Yep. From way
behind
the play, yep.
Or way behind where the kick was returned from. It was like Coach Donahue was thinking penalty should be on Edison because he was asking for a flag.
Well, I lost the ability to go back with it on replay, John. But again, it was a very lackluster fair catch call to the point where I don't even sure if that qualified as a fair catch call. And they try to take a few advances of the ball in their possession, and it is going to warrant a pretty long conversation here. And it's a big difference starting at your own 35 than at your own 20 or 25.
When Edison needs to win the field position battle late in this game, that's a huge call potentially.
Right.
If you're going to do a fair catch, you can't raise your hand like you're, in a class you don't really care about. You got to raise your hand fully.
They'll continue to discuss.
Laundry's still on the field, I believe.
It looks like they are going to back Old Bridge up. The original spot is at the 32, and they're going to recoil. 5-yard penalty.
They'll bring it back on the 5-yard penalty. So Old Bridge gets backed up just a little bit on the play, on the kickoff return that looked like a fair catch, may have been a fair catch, but ended up being a false fair catch. But now Brody Nugent in this offense, they've got the potential to deliver the dagger to the Edison Eagles, but will they? That is the question. Nugent's got 2 receivers on either side of him. His usual one clap and get the play. Dixon behind him in the backfield, lined up. Oh, and the snap is just bobbled. Who's got it?
Well,
a flag is out.
Everybody moved except for the ball, I think, John. I think everybody but the center got the memo.
I wish we had the official microphone. This will be a false start on everybody but the center. It's one of the favorite things to hear on TV when they say everybody, false start everybody.
And again, here we have an example of really we've had a penalty-free second half with the exception of that flag that came out late there at the goal line on the previous possession, and now a couple of flags back-to-back to start Old Bridge up 5 yards deeper, and now they start 1st and 15. And penalties did play a factor in that first half as well. Thwarted a couple of drives. Let's see what it does here for Old Bridge on this one. 1st and 15.
You go back to the Woodbridge game as well.
Yep.
It's the reason they lost that game when you look back at it. Handoff. Fake the handoff, actually. He's got Griffith again. Oh, he can't make the catch. Not enough hot sauce on that football. Griffith had a touchdown again.
Oh, boy.
Nugent just could not deliver. Oh, my.
And perhaps that, John, would have been the dagger. I mean, Griffith is behind the defense. It's inexplicable, really. I mean, you do expect them to run and get time off the clock, but how does Griffith get behind everybody here? Look at the play fake. It's a gorgeous play fake, and Griffith just can't hang on. But,
wow.
That would have been an easy touchdown, especially given Griffith's speed.
If he gets any kind of lead on that,
Absolutely.
Even if he has to stop and catch it, he could just turn around and go probably at this point.
I was just about to say the same thing. Even if he has to stop dead in his tracks and catch that, he's still going to go.
He'll try to run a similar play, and he will just dump this, but it's incomplete. So a big stop for Edison here on this drive.
Well, it's now 3rd and 15.
3rd down and forever, but again, 3rd down and 20 was what led to a touchdown for Griffith again before. So usually you see 3rd down and 15, it's basically over, but it's not for an Old Bridge offense like this.
But for Edison, you have to love the fact that those two plays essentially just took off 6 or 7 seconds off the clock. So Old Bridge not able to run the clock here, and perhaps it's because you start 1st and 15 instead of your normal 1st and 10.
Now 3rd down and 15 here for the Old Bridge Knights. Nugent will take it, and he will fake the handoff and run himself. He's going to get past the defender. He's got the 1st down. He's going out the sideline. Brody Nugent, a flag on the play, saves disaster for Old Bridge. There will be a flag on the play.
It looks like it might go against Edison here.
Like it maybe a unnecessary offensive horse collar tackle. So that would be another 15 because that came at the end of the run.
And you could see Nugent, that's a keeper all the way. Design run, actually the read option, and look how he's able to sidestep.
Great blocking, got to the 2nd level. That will be a horse collar tackle penalty, so this ball is going to get moved way into Edison territory at the 30-yard line.
Well, and it goes back to what we've been saying all game long, John. You know, this Edison defensively, you know, we talk about bending and don't breaking. This has been stout but breaking. You know, it's like everything is good. Everything's going great, and then boom, the one play has been the backbreaker. 3rd and 20 led to the touchdown. The last drive, 3rd and 15, leads to about a 60-yard difference in field position. And now another penalty.
He thought he got back behind the line of scrimmage, but he tried to.
Well, you know, if you're Old Bridge there, this is a teachable moment. You got to, as an offensive lineman, you got to hit somebody. Come off your line and hit the guy in front of you and force the official to call that penalty.
They still get the luck of getting the penalty called, but definitely you want to make sure, hey, he did commit that penalty. You got to sell it a bit. But it's that 3rd down defense for Edison. Every time. It's always been on 3rd down. That's the key. And that's the hardest part of defense to improve on, is being better on 3rd down. It's so difficult to do that. Edison just has not figured it out at this point of the season against these Knights. Nugent awaiting his call.
I think when they'll go back and watch this game, John, they'll see that there are some winnable moments in this game that they've let slip.
Hands it off to Dixon, and Dixon's got running room. He'll take it past the 10, all the way down to the 6-yard line, and the Old Bridge Knights are just a few yards away from a dagger.
Well, I'll tell you what, not only the dagger, John, but now you've guaranteed yourself field goal position as well. So just in case this doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to, as we'll get another chance to look at the replay here, you are still in field goal range, and a field goal would make it a 3-score game.
You effectively can, if you really want to just be conservative, you could just knee the ball 3 times and take a field goal, but they won't do that. They'll go for the touchdown.
Well, with 7 minutes left, as we are going to approach the 7-minute mark when this ball is snapped, still requisite time where you can't do that, John, but it's not the worst decision either. You know, especially if you could keep the ball right here at the 5. It's
just run the ball up the middle effectively, not really need the ball, but just take short yardage, get it all the way to 4th down, and just take the field goal and effectively ice this game. But I'm sure if Dixon has running room for a touchdown, he will take it. Oh, yeah. This might be one of those things, if you get stuffed in the next 3 plays, it might not be the worst thing in the world.
Right.
So Edison might want to let him score here, and they make the tackle down about the 3-yard line. We have about 6:30 left to go on the game clock here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and this is great because now Old Bridge can just salt this. The next snap won't get taken until 6 minutes left. So basically, every single play here taking 40, 50 seconds off the clock. Now, if you're Edison, you are down to just 2 timeouts, too. They did have to take one in the 3rd quarter.
They will need a stuff defensively, and you go back to what almost was a defensive touchdown on what could have been a missed fumble call earlier in the game. And now we're at this point, 28-13. But again, Edison made their own mistakes. 4th and 1, penalty, couldn't convert. Nugent will take it himself on the quarterback keeper, stuffs it through into the end zone, runs over a defender, and Brody Nugent may have just put the capper on this football game here for the Old Bridge Knights, and that's the amount of points that they were looking for if they can get this PAT to go through. 34-13 here in the 4th quarter. Brody Nugent doing what he does best, take that football and run the rock.
Yep. Drop that right shoulder in on the defensive back and just walk your way in. That is a power football play right there. A great job by Nugent. 3 passing touchdowns in this one. He adds a rushing touchdown as well. And what did Griffith tell us, John? He wants 35 in this game. Well, they got 34. Here comes the point after, but not before the penalty.
Penalty on the play. This will be on Old Bridge, so back him up just a little bit. Jaden Griffith, what a call by him if this PAT goes through. 34 is basically 35.
Yeah, close enough.
But to say we want this offense to be better, we want to improve, we want to score 35 points to win this game. They didn't need that many, but they were so confident. You know, if you go back and watch those interviews, even Zamir Evans, they were just so confident heading to this game. To have that confidence after a loss, the way they lost to Woodbridge. And this will be snapped. It is up. And it is good. 35 points for Old Bridge. Jaden Griffith, call your shot. They got it done. 35-13 is your score. But to have that confidence for Coach Matt Donahue and his team to go out and say, you know, we lost a heartbreaker. Keep your head up. Keep your chin up. Go out and just kick the front door in against your next opponent. Edison got into a tough spot. Had a team that just was so desperate to win, wanted to win this game, was confident. They lost the game. They said, no, we're still Old Bridge. We're still the Knights. And they are moments away from a victory here, up 35-13. What a coaching job.
Absolutely, and I think the theme last week was how resilient Old Bridge was in that game, how they didn't blink when they were down by 15 late. They came back. Of course, they came a little bit short, but, you know, same rules apply in this game. Now, granted, they got off to the huge lead, 21-0, but they've been tested in this second half, and each time they were, and each time it looked like Edison might have them on the mat a little bit, might have them, you know, backpedaling and staggering like a prize fighter in the ring. They've responded. They've come back both times. They've put together touchdown drives, and got to feel good for this Old Bridge Knights team, really sticking to the game plan here. And if they hold on here in the final 5 minutes and 37 seconds, this will be a nice, complete victory for them. And just like you said, John, they called their shot. They wanted to score 35 in this game. They are right on the button here, as we have a pre-snap penalty here, I believe, against Edison. It's a sideline warning.
They have to stay on the sideline. That was the decision there.
Yep, they're relegated to the black box on the respective sidelines, and They'll get warned. Second time around, immediate flag.
I believe there was a different warning earlier in the game.
Well, it was for Old Bridge.
That was
John.
Old Bridge,
Yep.
okay. Kickoff here with 5:37 to go in the fourth quarter. The Old Bridge Knights up 35-13. They stuffed this kickoff down to about the 25-yard line. And now the Edison Eagles in desperation mode here in the game's final moments. Still 5:30, but the score makes it feel like there's only 1 minute.
Yeah, and Edison has done a pretty decent job throwing the football in this game today. But again, this takes you out of your bread and butter, which is, softening up the front of the Old Bridge defense with that run game. Can you still continue to run the football? Yeah, maybe, but they really need to put the ball up in the air now. They need a really quick, lightning-fast score to make this a 2-score game and give themselves a shot very late to make it a 1-score game, and then anything can happen. But the onus and the pressure completely on Edison's side of the ball now, and probably on the arm of their senior quarterback, Anthony Calantoni.
When your identity is running the football with Nike Ito, now you have to go and play against your identity.
Fumble.
And that snap is going to be fumbled. Calantoni looked like he got it back, but another fumbled snap.
Those exchanges have been awkward all day long, John. They really have. It's, sometimes there are some moments in this game where I feel like maybe it's on design or by design, some of those unorthodox handoffs, but not that time.
Calantoni rolls out to his right. Has to find somebody. Finds his receiver.
Nice catch.
Great catch. Way to get down on that play. Deion Davis-Jones makes the reception, and they will move the sticks. So Edison not going away quietly, not into the night, but the afternoon, as this is an early game.
This is backed up to that fumble on the exchange just to see where it went wrong. And, yeah, it's just the exchange
Just
there.
lost it. Calantoni now rolling out to his right, throws it away, so he didn't miss much. Don't worry. Second down and 10. After the first down play. 4:38 left to go here for the Edison Eagles. Clock is now stopped.
This brings you back to the play we missed, John, on that last replay. We'll let you see it.
Right. Just no one out there.
Yep.
Had to throw it away. Good decision. Clock is stopped. Clock did stop for the first down as well.
Yep, 4:36 and 2nd and 10 coming up.
Sun shines much brighter now on Lombardi Field, where the Knights lead 35-13. Tossed out to Ito. Ito's going to need some running room, but he is just met by a whole bunch of Knights. The whole barracks of Knights come through and stuff him. He's been running hard all game.
Power v. power on that exchange, and it's a stalemate. They meet up at the 42, and that's where it stays. 3rd down and 5 now. Obviously 4-down territory everywhere on the field for Edison. They continue to huddle up, more of a muddle huddle as they break out of it pretty quickly, but we have reached the 4-minute mark as well here in the fourth quarter.
3rd down and 5. Like you mentioned, Calantoni drops back, delivers a quick strike. He'll try to flick it back up. Wouldn't that not be an illegal forward pass? But he didn't have possession. Incomplete anyway. Garland tried to get it back up to a receiver coming to his left.
Yeah, it was being bobbled. I don't think Garland ever had it cleanly and almost tipped it to the right guy.
I've never seen that attempted.
Yeah.
Your mind goes to...
Closest thing would be like a hook and ladder
right,
situation, but here it is a little bit slowed down. We'll get you back to action if we need to.
It was incomplete, so I guess that is legal. I've never seen that before. Calantoni almost delivers a strike. It's tipped up. Tip drill interception. The Old Bridge Knights get the interception off the tip drill, and that may just do it for Old Bridge here at Lombardi Field. The Knights up 35-13, get the turnover they needed, and that might just be the clincher.
Yeah, you'd like to think that puts the game on ice a little bit here as they could salt more time away. Can the Knights, but there it is, tipped at the line of scrimmage. Looked like it was number 75 getting a big mitt on it. Is that Balbuena? That was Balbuena.
Balbuena got it done, and it was picked off. By Kassoff.
Yep, and again, we mentioned it before, how resilient this Old Bridge team has been in the face of some tough plays that have gone against them, especially in the second half. But how about that? Defensively, you stand up strong on third down, and then fourth down, big play at the line of scrimmage, and now a chance to run a couple of minutes off the clock here at the least on this drive.
With this game on ice, it looks like Aiden Rios will come in at quarterback, who caught the big touchdown on a third down play.
Yeah, good catch there as Dixon runs up the middle for nothing. Loss of 2 on the play. Might hear the wind whipping up in our microphones, John, but
sure you've heard it all day.
Yep.
It's a windy day here in Old Bridge, New Jersey, as it always is.
Yeah, I didn't want to jinx anything by saying the R word, but we're grateful that even though we're under tent, it's a very feeble tent here on the top of the press box. It would not have survived our broadcast if it rained here. But with 3 minutes left, I said it. I said I'm gonna put it out there and tempt the gods. The announcer's jinx is real, especially here on PDF Sports Network. We have jinxed ourselves so many times.
What will Poseidon do here in this moment in the last 3 minutes?
Punish Old Bridge broadcasters.
Aiden Rios hands it off to Dixon. He gets stuffed again. The Edison Eagles trying to at least get another possession here and just onside kick if they can get touchdowns. But Rios with a handoff again. Aiden Rios came into the game, not a usual receiver. He is, as you can see, the backup quarterback and also a defensive back. Played an offensive snap, caught a touchdown. Yes. It's a pretty good day for Mr. Rios. The Old Bridge Knights, again, after a very tough loss to Woodbridge, here on this field on Friday Night Lights. Give you a Saturday matinee. And Rios will take it himself. He gets stuffed again, maybe picked up a yard. And that'll be 3 and out.
Something to think about, too, John, is that Rios is only a freshman. And, you mentioned he did have the big touchdown pass, and that's something that, we've heard about this Old Bridge team, and head coach Donahue is if you could play, you're going to play.
Right.
It doesn't matter. There's a lot of coaches out there at the high school level that if you're a freshman, now granted, if you're a superstar freshman, 5-trip recruit, a 5-star recruit, then that's different. But freshmen predominantly, the golden rule is you don't play. You play on the freshman team, JV if you have one, and it's usually taboo to put them on the field in any way, shape, or form. But Matt Donahue has an open call for talent on this team, and if you're good enough to be in that starting lineup, you will be in there. And with 1:25 to go, they'll punt it away, and I don't see Nugent in there, the usual punter either.
Different punter on the field. Good catch.
And looks like it will
be an
be
85, and there'll be a timeout on the field as well, so we'll have time to check our sheets.
Yep. So Thomas Santos, the sophomore, will get his first turn at it. 1:17 to go. Timeout was called, I believe, by Edison.
Looked like it. And a big thing that Matt Donahue said when he was hired back in 22 was that he wanted to keep the Old Bridge kids in Old Bridge.
Yes.
A lot of high school football stars, they'll go out, they'll transfer somewhere else, they'll play at St. Peter's, right? Like Minka Fitzpatrick is from here, but he didn't play here. When you get a star like that in your hometown and you can keep him, you can build a program here in Old Bridge and just uplift this team. That's what Coach Donahue was trying to do. So you can get a guy like Aiden Rios, a freshman, have him play offense, defense. I'll put you wherever you are going to get on the field, letting freshmen play. And if you can trust your players like that, and a guy like Coach Donahue who seems to really have his guys locked in right now, you can keep the Old Bridge guys in Old Bridge.
Yeah, obviously we're a little biased here, John, because we are the home team's broadcast network, but it's a really great atmosphere here at Old Bridge. And, earlier this morning we had the girls field hockey team behind us playing. We had some tennis going on at the facility. It's just a gorgeous place to be on a Saturday afternoon, and sometimes even better on a Friday night.
Absolutely. 1:07 remain on the clock in terms of the time left, so we are just about a minute away from the conclusion of this one. 35-13 is your score here with just a minute to go as the Old Bridge Knights just play a stout game. Sure, we can go back and maybe look at a missed call or two one way or the other, but at the end of the day, they are going to probably win this game. Take a look at their schedule. You've got Edison and then Piscataway Township. Both of those games at home. Edison was just here. And then they've got a bit of a road game as well. South Brunswick, East Brunswick back at home. Road trip to Morristown and Monroe Township. Hunterdon Central, then at Colonia to close out the year on their blue fields. Over to end the season. So they got a tough game out the way in Woodbridge. You play Edison. Tough team, but you're going to most likely win this game unless a huge miracle happens. And now the rest of their schedule, they'll come back home as well.
Yeah, so next week we'll be back here for the game against Piscataway. We have it as a TBA, but we understand it probably will be at 7 o'clock in the evening. Of course, we'll have that for you later in the week. New quarterback as well.
Barbouz.
Returning was DeBooz,
Barbouz comes out. Not enough for the first down. It appears the clock still running here on this one, but Edison had a lot of good moments in this game. Just third down was the down that really hurt them in this game on both sides of the ball.
100%. And
they will move the 6, but I guess they won't. At this point, you won't really put the clock back to where it was.
Timeout has been called by Old Bridge as well to discuss these final few plays. And, John, we should mention that today's game on the PDF Sports Network is one of 2 games that we will have today. A little bit later on at 6:30 p.m., we will have semi-professional adult football up in New Rochelle. It'll be the New York Bandits taking on the New Jersey Gravediggers of the Elite Football Alliance, a pair of 1-0 teams. Our friend Joe Foreman will be down in New Rochelle to give you the blow-by-blow of that one. Once again, 6:30 start time there. Semi-pro football, one of the bread and butter sports of PDF Sports Network. So we are not just Old Bridge football. So for all you Knights fans, keep it on us for some more football later in the evening tonight.
Barbouz takes a snap. He will just take it forward. Takes a decent shot. 30 seconds left to go as he will just keep taking these keepers. But again, make sure to tune in. Make sure to stick around for those games if you are a football fanatic, as obviously we are. Great semi-pro football. Those guys put on a great show.
And I think up until mid-November, we have football every single weekend on PDF Sports Network. And starting September 20th.
As this one is intercepted, and that is a true icing on the theoretical cake. Barbouz throws an interception. That play caught by Griffin Nugent.
Yep. Yeah. So keep it in the family, huh?
Keep it in the family. Griffin Nugent, the sophomore, playing defensive back for the Old Bridge Knights, and of course, that's who ends it. You cannot even write that up better.
9.1 seconds to go, and there you go. There's the icer, as they'll likely take a knee and shake hands. But just wanted to finish the thought, John, that beginning September 20th, you, myself, and many others combine efforts to cover the Rockets Junior Hockey Club in Bridgewater, New Jersey. We cover their NCDC team, which is one of the highest junior hockey tiers in the nation. And we also cover their premier team, which is one rung lower than NCDC, but we cover every single home game. So we're talking about 40-plus home dates for Rockets Junior Hockey. That starts September 20th, as we mentioned. The weekend, all those games can be found on Flow Sports, on USPHL, Rockets Hockey Club Hockey. So a lot we have going on here at the PDF Sports Network. Every weekend football, sometimes 2 and 3 games in a weekend.
And there is the kneel down, and that will do it for the Old Bridge Knights. They take the victory 35-13. Jaden Griffith said, we want 35 points in this game. They got exactly that. Old Bridge's offense showed out today, led by Brody Nugent. The defense was stout, making plays here in this game. They get a huge kickoff fumble on the special team side of things. Everything that you could have asked Old Bridge to do today, they did it here at Lombardi Field.
Yeah, and they had to do it. You would look at the final score and you say, this was probably an easy one. It was not. You know, Edison in the second half especially did put the squeeze to Old Bridge a little bit at times. But again, similar to last week, a lot of resiliency for this team, this Old Bridge team. They kept at it. And something I go back to in the pregame, John, head coach Matt Donahue telling us he wants to clean things up a little bit. Of course, stay away from turnovers, penalties, things like that. And I think he could feel comfortable checking those boxes off. They really played a good, complete 4-quarter game. It wasn't totally polished. They did pick up some penalties, of course, but for the most part, they can feel really good about where they are after 2 weeks. They're one in the win column, one in the loss column, but essentially 2 good games that they gave their home fans 2 weeks in a row. They get to do it again next weekend as well.
They had a lot to clean up, but they at least got rid of the grime. There's still plenty to get rid of. There's still plenty to fix up, and I'm sure Coach Donahue in this film session, you look at 35-13, and he will still be yelling his head off in a film session because that's just what coaches do. But a great game overall by the Old Bridge Knights. I'm John McCooch. Been joined alongside David Bizzuto. Thank you to Old Bridge for allowing us to be a part of this and broadcast these games. To all our sponsors, thank you for allowing PDF Sports Network to go and go and go. Wouldn't be able to do it without anybody, all the viewers, everybody out there, and obviously Mr. Bizzuto right here as well.
And Christian Casatelli,
absolutely.
Our newfound cameraman who's did a great job for us in his PDF debut. So thank you, Christian.
There we go. But with all our thank yous now out of the way, that will do it. 35-13 is your final here from Old Bridge. We'll be back next week for Old Bridge Night Football here on the PDF Sports Network, and make sure to stick around for some semi-pro football as well here on the PDF Sports Network. Once again, I've been John McCooch, and that will do it. Old Bridge 1-1 on the season. Big win against Edison. We will see you another time.